I say chief host or one of the hosts, ladies and gentlemen, known simply as Sir Christie Toby, Commander of the Governor of Rivers State. Thank you, Your Excellency. The problem with inviting people who had served as spam sex before is that they come to occasion exactly on time, and they cause protocol problems for us. In those days, when we want to invite him to occasion for 9 o'clock, we'll put his own time, 9:45, so that by the time he comes, everybody is seated. That was how we were able to manage him and his timeliness. And I can see that timeliness is a family thing. You can see Our Excellency too, and I'm sure Ibim also practice it. And sometimes we'll drive her back, say, Madam, we are not yet ready for you. Please go back. Thank you so much, Your Excellencies, and thank you for giving us such training and such profiling. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have here a former Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and a former Secretary to Government, this is Dr. Abie Sekibo. If you are close to him, you know that he has the most infectious laughter in politics. Each time the man laughs, everybody will laugh. He's a very happy man. Sir, the wine bar has us today. Thank you so much. The list is so much, but we also have here from the royalty, Chief Dr. Bernard Apreku Okome, representing His Royal Highness, the Amenable of Okrika Kingdom. So never mind, Okrika and Ogoni are the same. If the pronunciation no correct, it will be right. So ladies and gentlemen, we are happy to announce that the moment we've been waiting for is here now. We have in our midst the Governor of Rivers State coming in. Please shall we rise to receive him? It's here today represented by the Secretary to Government. Thank you, Your Excellency. The House is now fully constituted. Shall we all remain standing, ladies and gentlemen, while we enjoy the national anthem?
To the Nigerian national anthem, Mr. Albert Congo raises the flag of the new nation.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Thank you. Only one stanza. Thank you so much. Thank you. Only one stanza. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we, for the opening prayer, my privilege to invite His Grace, Most Reverend Dr. Blessing Enyinda, Dean, Church of Nigeria, Archbishop Niger Delta, Province of the Niger Delta, and Bishop of Ikwere, to please give us the opening prayer. You may wish to come forward here. Okay, sorry. Microphone is coming to you.
Have to be alive and partake in activities of men. We give you the honor that is due you, and we thank you for this privilege. We therefore commit this event into your hands, wherein your daughter and servant, who is in the ministry and business of raising people and raising lives and leaders. Lord, we pray that you take control. And may we all here be blessed as we partake in it, in the name of Jesus Christ.
Thank you. You may be seated. You know, when it's a ceremony where you have a lot of the heavyweights of protocol, it takes time to get adjusted, but we are on ground. Thank you so much. Your Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, today represented by Dr. Tammy Wenike Danagogo, Secretary to Government, and of course, a former Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Excellency, Honorable Justice Mary Odili, the chairman of today's ceremony, and herself today is also a book author. Your Excellency, the former Deputy Governors of Rivers State, Engineer Tele Ikuru and Christie Toby, the chief book presenter for today, Mr. Adokie Ikpoki, who is the CEO and, of course, of Chairborne GCL, Dr. Abie Sekibo, former SSG, distinguished panelists, including Professor Telema Adolphus, Professor Barineme Fakai, and Dr. Mrs. Janet Olufemilayo Williams. Our book reviewer, Dr. Williams Wadi, the distinguished Professor Winston Belgam, a former commissioner of Rivers State, other former commissioners whom I've not listed, but you are all recognized, our author, writer, educationist, proprietor, and the star of today, Dr. Mrs. Christie Toby. His Royal Highness, respected chiefs, traditional rulers, elders, ladies and gentlemen, whatever protocol that was not recognized will be corrected accordingly. You're all welcome. Shakespeare, William, had written some time ago in Hamlet II, "What do you read, my lord?" And Hamlet replied, "Words, words, words." Some time ago, Andre Breton also wrote, "Of all those arts in which the wise excel, nature's chief masterpiece is writing well." Ladies and gentlemen, it is on this premise that I welcome you all to the formal presentation of the book written by our dear mother, friend, sister, colleague, teacher, proprietor, Dr. Mrs. Christie Toby. Welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen. As it is, in line with our protocol, I'd like to invite a lady, a woman, a journalist, a communicator, a woman who understands the art of joining A and B, B and C. Ladies and gentlemen, award-winning IBIM seminary to please come forward and give us the opening address.
Thank you, Blessing. Your Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Simna Lai Fubara, GSSRS, represented by my brother and my buddy, the Honorable Secretary to the Rivers State Government, Alabo Dr. Tammy Wenike Danagogo, GSSRS. Your Excellency, my mom, the Honorable Justice Mary Ukego Peter Odili, JSC retired, CFR, DSSRS, wife of the former Governor of Rivers State, the debonair, suave, and always on point Governor of Rivers State. And in her own right, Pro-Chancellor, Chairman of Council, Rivers State University. Your Excellency, for today I'm swapping And I'm starting with the subject matter of today's event. Dame Dr. Christie Toby, DSSRS, Fellow Nigerian Association of Special Education Teachers, Fellow Nigerian Academy of Education, Fellow Nigerian Institute of Management, Life Member, Nigerian Institute of Management, my mother, Your Excellency, the former Deputy Governor, Alabosa Dr. Gabriel Toby, DSSRS, Your Excellency, the former Deputy Governor of Rivers State, my boss, Engineer Dr. Tele Ikuru, and his very delectable wife, Double Doctor Mina Tele Ikuru. The chief presenter for today, my brother, and indeed a very, very, very accomplished Rivers man who makes all of us proud and who is always self-effacing but committed to serving humanity. Mr. Doke Ekpoki, MD CEO, Chairborne Global Services Limited. My father in God, the most respected, most reverend Dr. Blessing Enyinda, Dean Church of Nigeria, Archbishop Niger Delta Province, and Bishop Diocese of Okrika, my father. The very respected Amayabo of Okrika Kingdom, my father, Navy Commander, retired, my king, Ogube, Amayabo of Okrika, very ably represented by Chief Bernard Okoye. My uncle, my father, my buddy, my friend, the very respected Chief Dr. Abie Sekibo Achin IV. Very respected chiefs, very respected, please, the Bishop of the Niger Delta Province, another father of faith represented very ably. You're welcome, sir. The most Reverend Doctor, I'm sorry, the Right Reverend Dr. Okojaja, I hope I'm not prophesying. And of course, another father of faith in the hall, and I noticed him, even though he's hiding, he's still owing us a lot of drink and cows and plenty things. A respected father of faith in Rivers State, Reverend Dr. Zili Agri, and my beautiful cousin, his wife, Gladys Agri. Please permit me to just adopt every protocol and say, respected ladies and gentlemen, our book reviewer, Dr. William Ward, the panelists, Senior Povo Kingdom, Chiefs of Okrika and Opobo, Knights, ladies and gentlemen, and all mummies, students, past, present, and future. It gives me great honor to welcome you to this special occasion, telling the story of one of Nigeria's best and brightest, an educationist of no mean repute, and one who has etched her name in gold and has raised numerous leaders, some of whom will be speaking with us today. Excellencies, this woman has had a lifelong dedication to learning and teaching. The book presentation is not just a presentation, but is a profound experience, and I hope all of you will be part of the experience today. We will delve into pages of this remarkable work, but we'll also have a conversation around education and its role in raising future leaders, and we have our panelists all seated here today. It is my privilege that indeed we can honor such a distinguished individual whose contributions have shaped minds and nurtured tons and tons of generations. Thank you for being part of this event. And permit me, please, to recognize my boss and another father of faith, the Bishop of the Diocese of Okrika, the Right Reverend Enoch Atuboyedia, who is my boss because I am his diocesan communicator. Please welcome him so that I don't lose my job. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy the experience as we celebrate one woman who truly deserves her flowers today. Thank you.
Thank you. Put your hands together for her, ladies and gentlemen. A journalist, a writer, a communicator, a lady who knows how to move between A and B. Sometimes when I look at you, I can imagine what it was growing up in the house, a teacher as your mother, a permanent secretary as your father. You can be sure that he's been passed through the furnace. And thank God that she is what she is. I'm sure in those days she would say, my mother is very wicked. And the father will give her time. My friend, that's his famous word. You have to be back in this house by 4:30. And 4:30 is 4:30. And he'll be there and stay up till 5. So ladies and gentlemen, we can see the importance of real grilling. And the next person I'm going to call is the daughter of a man popularly called Okpara Mbise. A man who strode the legal profession and bequeathed it gradually to the children. And she has not, at any time, come down. And I can say that as wife of the governor in those days, she was always the first judge, among the first judges to report to court. And she doesn't go with the official car of Her Excellency. She goes in the car given to her as a judge of the Rivers State Judiciary. Ladies and gentlemen, she has set so much example. And she today is an icon and an idol and a class act and an example to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Justice Mary Ukebu. Madam, the choice is yours, either to stay there or on the lectern.
I would prefer to be here.
You know, we can't order judges. Thank you.
Thank you. With that introduction, Blessing Wikinak has knocked the bottom off my legs. And I pray my sister and the honoree will help me out. The governor of Rivers State. Thank you. The governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Fibwa, represented by a legal luminary, the secretary to the state government, Dr. Tami Wenike Danagogo, our host, His Excellency, Chief Gabriel Toby, who took delight in reminding my husband that he came from the Archangel Gabriel. Our honoree, thank you. Well, if the mountain will not come to Muhammad, Muhammad will go to the mountain. My dear sister, Dame Christie Toby, the former deputy governor of Rivers State, Chief Tele Ikuru, and his beautiful wife, whose beauty I saw at their wedding. So I know their beginning. I praise God for who they have become. Abie, I call him Abie. He knows why. His mother handed him over to me to be his mother. It is a position I hold dear to, and I cannot abdicate it for any reason. Abie Sekebo, former Minister of Transport. Our royal fathers, who are here, I recognize and respect you. The Dean of the Church of Nigeria, His Grace Archbishop Enyinda, and other fathers in the Lord who are present in this assemblage. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press, what I have seen and the number of people I have identified, clearly this is a family gathering of our Rivers people, and I am happy to be part of it. When I was told of the appointment to be chairman of today's occasion on the book presentation on Dr. Christie Toby, I did not bother to ask, why me? I simply saw the opportunity as God's answer to my internal cry to have the chance to be heard on a government policy which, I humbly posit, has made us lose our way in education. In the letter of appointment, Dame Christie said it was because of our family friendship of decades, extensive experiences and distinguished career, as well as my commitment to mentorship of the younger generation, which made her nominate me. I am not going to be sucked into a debate on the reasoning of the Tobys, but I insist it is providential that I use the book presentation of this erudite scholar and a great lady of many parts as a platform for me to bring to the public domain a missing link in our progress as a people to nurture the present and future generations in the building up of an excellent nation that would hold its own firmly in the Committee of Nations. The introductory part of my discourse is a build-up to what I have found distressing in our educational system. I do not know what informed the authorities to phase out the teacher training colleges. That is why we are now foisted with some half-baked teachers with very high degrees and academic qualifications, but without the foundational base to properly teach our young ones. That faulty foundation is what has led us to the situation we now find ourselves, where untrained persons are now training our future leaders in all spheres of life. Reading through the journey of life, learning and impacting of today's honoree, depicted in this biography, showcases the gain of her early training as a teacher from primary school through the teacher training colleges to what she has become today. An excellent educationist, sure-footed in transmitting from the fountain she drank. What I have garnered from this book, which the honoree graciously made available to me before this event, has confirmed what I had known from the skills acquisition program the honoree and I embarked on throughout the state. That is, that the skills acquisition centers during the administration of Dr. Peter Odili and Gabriel Toby, coordinated by those who had passed through teacher training colleges, were handled with the methodology and excellence of those who were atop of their game of teaching. The difference was clear compared to those handled by other professionals. It was that finding that has made me anxious to be heard on the need for the authorities to revisit the matter of teacher training colleges with a view to re-establishing them so as to harness our young properly and appropriately. I am very happy and I thank God that the governor of Rivers State is here and has heard me loud and clear. That is the point I have been grappling with to communicate in showing that this book presentation and the contents of the book itself bear me witness that my humble view on the matter of teacher training colleges are not from a whimsical fancy, but one born out of experience. And as the saying goes, experience is the best teacher. It is on that note that I want to thank the Toby family for this wonderful expose of a journey of life of a great Nigerian teacher, home builder, administrator, and innovator. Finally, I implore all and sundry to have a copy of this book, which will enrich one's library and the mind while teaching all the way. Many thanks for listening, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Please, one more time, put your hands together for her. You heard, when judges speak, they are still ruling and delivering judgments. And the Secretary to Government heard the message very well. Thank you, sir. And I'm sure that the message must be delivered today. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have in our midst the Chairman, River State Council of Traditional Rulers, Ezechike Woluwodo, the King of Aparakina. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you. You can see that the two chiefs are sitting together. While we shall be taking a presentation from the ABEC Orchestra. Please kindly take them up. There are a lot of recognitions, but in line with protocol. Once the governor is there, the big man is there, you go do a small so that you don't run into a protocol problem. A protocol mistake is more dangerous than a social mistake. ABEC is one of the group. ABEC, the one in Woji, Vigwe, it's one of the group, one of the schools in the ABEC group. And I'd like you to especially listen to them, ladies and gentlemen. They want a microphone stand. Ladies and gentlemen, when we are dealing with children, we must make sure that we go at their pace. Never mind, next time we are going to have briefings from their coordinator so that we can align. Thank you so much. ABEC Orchestra. Thank you so much. Put your hands together for them, ladies and gentlemen. They are starting very early. They are starting very early. We won't say if in America, they don't begin chop money. Even in Nigeria, yeah, they can start chopping money. I'm told that the Commissioner for Information is here. River State, I'd like to recognize him. Where is he? Honorable Commissioner. Oh, you know, I have to be very protective of my own constituency. Just like the judges will do for judiciary, teachers will do for NUT, and everybody. And the next person I'm going to call, it's also from my constituency. He was an editor, a journalist who practiced and combed the streets of Port Harcourt on foot, from community to community, from local government to local government. And he panned through pages and brought to us what we call and in those days, it was the star of the journalism profession, the Nigerian Tide. And I'd like to tell you that journalists are very restless. The man moved from the newsroom to the boardroom to the lecture room and is a lecturer in communication. I deliberately refused to call the name Dotu Adekombi. I left it for him. I also deliberately refused to use the fact that what we are going to see is a biography. So, ladies and gentlemen, he is a professional and he will do justice to this book. Ladies and gentlemen, our book reviewer is Dr. Williams Wardy. Please put your hands together for him.
Okay, still morning. Very good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am going to stand on the excellently established order of protocol so I don't cause some domestic accidents here. So kindly pardon me, but I will have to recognize His Excellency, ably represented by the SSG. I will recognize His Grace. You're welcome, sir. I will recognize the former chairman of the governing council of my university, my father, Sir Christie Toby. I will recognize Dame Dr. Christie Toby. And then, having done that, let me just go and upstairs and recognize the wife of the former governor, Dr. Peter Odele. I worked with Dr. Peter Odele those days. I want to recognize Honorable Justice Mary Odele, JSC. She has other titles, but I need to cut this one short. Ma, you're welcome. Now, this is where the order of protocol becomes a little problematic. But you see, if I don't recognize the paramount ruler of my kingdom, the Apara Kingdom, and the chairman of the River State Council of Traditional Rulers, I will lose the house I live in at Rumibo. Having said that, I wish I said that I was roped into this by Ibim Seminary and Mr. Ige. Is he here? Okay. I had a conversation with Ibim, and then she said I should come and do the review of the book for her father. Unknown to her, that I had known this family, I mean, the half of it, the Datobo Brown family, for a very long time. And kindly permit me to start on that note. It is a very fitting tribute that this book did not start with the Christie Toby, that this book started with the man who was larger than life himself. In fact, he was an archdeacon, but each time he came to St. Andrews, where my father was a resident priest, he actually looked like a bishop. He wore the aura of a bishop. It was an episcopal visit for us at St. Andrews. As St. Paul's Job too, and as St. Barnabas Elekaya, each time he came, he was like an archbishop. My Lord Archbishop, I'm sorry, sir. That was the existential truth. ODC was larger than life. And each time he came, my father will lock all of us up in the room that his father was coming. And we thought his father died before we were born. He kept calling the man his father. And I'll tell you a very brief story with my connection. With only 2 persons know this story. The Surgeon General himself, who was with us at the University of Port Harcourt, Diffini Datobo Brown, we called him the Surgeon General each time I had the opportunity to introduce him at the University of Port Harcourt. And of course, I also told a little snippet of the story to Ibim. She was blown away when I told her the story. It was not these days when anybody can wear a collar, put up those funny things and call themselves pastors, apostles, general overseers, general underseers. And there were also, there are bishops now, self-appointed bishops, self-appointed archbishops. I'm surprised that we haven't had a self-appointed pope yet. We are waiting for that. There will soon be a pope. And so, it was the Venerable O.D.C. Brown who made it possible for my late father, the Reverend Canon Herbert Wardy, to go to theology school. It was so difficult those days for you to be seconded to theology school. Venerable O.D.C. fought a one-man battle in the Anglican Communion those days, Niger Delta Diocese. And my father attended this theology school and became a pastor. He had been at St. Paul's College before my father. And so they were both alumni of St. Paul's College. I later learned from this book that he was a pioneer. My father went a little later. And so when my father was posted to St. Andrews in 1974, 75, 76, before he was transferred away, we were at St. Andrews, and he needed to dispense with his old radio. A little radio, we went to Biafra with it and returned with it. All they did was to put a pere wire and suspended it on the orange or any nearby tree. And the reception was very marvelous. And this radio was constantly tuned to BBC. We didn't know what BBC meant. And we had, each morning around 4 a.m., we had those voices. We couldn't speak the language. We didn't know that was what they call Queen's English. And so in 1974, when my father held court at St. Andrews, St. Andrews Job, he decided that it was time for him to change his listening pleasure. And he needed to acquire a radio with a cassette to play his VCR. So we went to Radio Vision Center, very close to St. Cyprian's, 76 Agri Road. That was the only radio shop anywhere in Port Harcourt at that time, to the best of my knowledge. My father took me and my immediate elder brother, Sir Johnson Warden, now deceased. We went to Radio Vision Center. Unfortunately, he was 6 naira short of the type of radio he wanted. The radio was a Sanyo radio. The older people in this place knows what a Sanyo radio is. So guess what my father did? He walked both of us to St. Cyprian's premises. And the Venerable O.D.C. held court. Many people were coming to seek all manner of favors from him. Some cried on his shoulder, some sought advice. Most of them wanted money. And the man actually lost a lot to people because he couldn't say no. So before my father could complete the sentence, remember he was a lieutenant in the World War II, during World War II. So he walked like Okrika and things fall apart. Disappeared and returned with 10 naira, gave it to my father and said, Wam, that was what he called my father, threw out until my father passed in 1985. Go and buy your radio. So my father bought the radio, and then he did the unthinkable. He now decided to take us back to Venerable O.D.C. Brown, that he insisted on showing the man the radio. But we had no say in the matter, we followed him. When we got there, the man, our second missionary journey didn't quite turn out according to the script. Venerable O.D.C. Brown, if you knew him very well, was not a man given to inconsequential babbles, certainly not from the priests under him. So he now rolled his eyeballs and said, Reverend Wardy, he said, yes, what is the problem? Have they changed the price of the radio? He said, no, sir. So why are you back here? He says, I came to show you the radio. And then O.D.C. looked at the gentleman emerged, opened the radio, and my father ordered the gentleman to switch the radio on. The man fiddled with the knob, it wasn't working. So he looked at O.D.C., O.D.C. looked at him, he whispered something to O.D.C. Please, pardon me if I'm using O.D.C. I dared not mention that name those days. So the Venerable disappeared for a second time and then reappeared. The gentleman also disappeared and then reappeared later. While that was going on, We were drinking green sun shandy. And we didn't want the journey to end. We were drinking green sun shandy and closing our eyes. And then when the man emerged, he now turned the radio, opened the back, this in the back compartment, and inserted the batteries, and the radio roared back to life. As the radio roared back to life, Odyssey now said, Wham, say, yeah, now you can go back to your station and enjoy your radio. That was our experience. When I got to the University of Port Harcourt in the early 90s and I met D.D. Datubo Brown, I didn't know him very well. We were going to St. Cyprian's regularly. I didn't meet Mama. I didn't also meet D.D. Datubo Brown. So I introduced myself to him and told him this story. He laughed. He said, typical Odyssey, my father. So that was the debt, 2 debts we owed, especially the first one was I wouldn't be standing here today. My father wouldn't have been a reverend or a canon in the Anglican Church without ODC. So the first radio was named BBC. The second radio was named ODC. And so it remained until my father passed on in 1985. Guess what happened? ODC came and gave him a befitting, but he led the clergy that came to bury my father through Mibo. So you can see that this very story may be the story of a prodigious woman named Dr. Christie Toby, nee Datubo Brown, who, like her late father before her and her husband, Alabos GTG Toby, took a moral stance and endured the cost of choosing the moral life at every turn of her private and public life. But it is a fitting tribute and a show of gratitude that the gripping, sometimes unnerving, episodic, because I would explain that this book, much of it is, each chapter, much of the 18 chapters can stand on their own. So that's what I mean by episodic. That it is very, very important that this book, Dr. Christie Toby, Touching Lives and Raising Leaders, published in Ibadan in 2024, began with vignettes taken from the personality of her father, the larger-than-life O.D.C. Brown, the philanthropist, the preacher, the soldier of Christ, and the professional soldier for that matter, the venerable Obadiah Datubo Kokoye Brown. Now, popularly known simply as O.D.C. Brown, he regrettably passed on in 1987, as the book informs us. Now, O.D.C. himself was a very dominant presence on the pulpit and a personality of great influence in the larger society. Now, there was something a little ambivalent about him, and also them Christie. They are both Christians, very, very serious Christians, and they describe him in the book as a man of mountain moving faith. You know what that means. But somehow, ODC also was very, very loyal to aspects of the tradition of Opobo that did not mean worshipping Juju. And when I read the book to a point, then Christie Toby too always went back to Opobo to organize the women. And I found that there was no contradiction between the two extremities, joining tradition and Christian life. In fact, she quoted people who quoted Jesus Christ as saying that they should give to Caesar what belonged to Caesar, and to Christ what belonged to Christ. So she's a little bit of a moderate and not an extremist Christian, as I found in the book. Now, the other thing you need to know about the book is that ODC himself engaged in very Spartan discipline. And a couple of incidents in the book will tell you that. For instance, you see the Sir G.T.G. Toby, the former chairman of my governing council at the University of Port Harcourt, seated here looking like Socrates. He wasn't a very innocent man in those days. I'll come to him to tell you the kind of plot this man put in place to capture this woman. And I'm so grateful to the Archbishop Emeritus of Jos Diocese, the irrepressible Most Reverend Benjamin Kwashi, who described them, Dr. Christie Toby, as a vicarage girl. And that was the best description to give to her, a vicarage girl. I am a vicarage boy too, And we saw the world, according to Chino Achebe, through the prism of hibiscus flowers and ornamental trees, including economic trees, which you dared not touch in the church premises in your own interest. And so, when Toby was growing up, Daddy built barricades around her, serious barricades. Her mother, Virginia, and her father, the Venerable, they somehow, they had 8 years of hiatus of looking for children. And we were told that at midnight, some people, men and women of faith, will enter into the church to pray on their behalf for them to have children. Quite unfortunately for them, when they started, they raised one short of a football team. They did. They raised one short of a complete Arsenal. I'm an Arsenal supporter, so they raised an Arsenal football team. And the book tells us that at some point, they were now praying that others should take the balance, that they were no longer interested. But before then, Mama Virginia was so angry. She was taunted, and people had told her that told the ODC that he was living with a fellow man in his house. So the woman cried and cried like Hannah to God, and suddenly the floodgates opened. This woman, before the floodgates opened, did something very bizarre. She was so frustrated of not having a child after 8 years of wedlock that she decided each time she came back from the house, she scattered most things in the house, scattered things, broke earthenware and did things. And when they asked her, she said yes, that was exactly a house where children run around should look like. At all these proper decorations and all that, they didn't reflect the household. So she was herself breaking things. Out of frustration, the lady was breaking things until, well, you know the story. This lady came in 1941. And she's among the ladies who can proclaim their ages. If I ask 90% of the ladies here to tell us how old they are, you know the story. But, so, when that happened, and the man, ODC, had faced an obstacle earlier. You know, a very, very anachronistic tradition in Opobo, that you couldn't marry the first daughter. The first daughter, the father's love was transferred to the first daughter who looked like the mother and therefore needed to stay in the homestead. And that was a very big problem. So ODC had to settle for Virginia, who was actually the younger sister of an earlier lady he saw at a maiden dance he wanted to marry. So he had to settle for, he had plan B. So they usually have plan B. Toby even had plan B. Now, it is very, very ironic that the same woman who scattered things in the house because she didn't have a child, that the same ODC who went to church to pray, this lady came, and on a very, very grisly morning, she broke, the mother sent her to send this in you said teapot. She boiled the tea and then gave to her to go and send to ODC to drink. And the man was balanced there. This lady came, the cover fell and broke. So ODC was quiet initially. Then he weighed his options. And then her mother, Mama Virginia, was in the background. Guess what you mothers do? Contemplating what kind of punishment we meted out to the lady. Then ODC went in, picked up his cane. Guess what he did? He started flogging the toe repeatedly. And then when the mother asked, why are you flogging it? He said, no, I'm not flogging Christie. I'm flogging the toe that caused the problem, the toe that she, it was that toe that she hit on something that actually broke this. I'm not flogging her. Obviously, ODC knew that Christie had managed the truth. I wouldn't say she lied. She managed the truth. And the ODC knew immediately that his daughter, who he was training in the Christian life, had said that something tripped her off. He actually thought she was careless on that occasion. So, Now, we had to move forward because Ibim gave me 12 minutes. I'm sure she's watching me and knowing Ibim very well. Now, back to the book proper. Our brother, Mr. Dotu Adekambi, has conducted a brilliant on-the-ground reporting style that produced a deeply compelling work that combines ecclesiastical history, ethnography, cultural and political anthropology, psychology, shrewd philosophy, and sociology, and an impassioned, no-hold-barred polemic that grips the reader right to the end of the narrative. This biographical account of a woman of faith, great moral probity, and courage will be talked about for some time to come, if you read the book, of course. The author's synthesizing mind wanders in diverse directions to unearth aspects of the fascinating life of then Dr. Christie Toby to general aplomb. He has characteristically woven an intrepid narrative that should hold the attention of the reader end to end. The author masterfully captures the essential Dame Christie Toby as a consummate educationist, philanthropist, public servant, activist, and a woman of faith who continues to lead a life of distinguished service, especially to the underserved segments of a society that is increasingly stripping itself of fellow feeling and empathy that compel us to reach out and touch other lives. The book truthfully depicts Dr. Toby as a mentor of mentors, a teacher of teachers, a worthy role model, and a public servant par excellence, who has set herself apart as a sacrificial leader and pioneer in many stations of life. The author intrepidly weaves the narrative with touching personal stories that convey the historical milieu in which Dr. Toby, Dame Dr. Toby, I should say, lived her life and reached out to the wretched of the earth. That's the rest of us. Apologies to Mr. Franz Fanon, who is the original owner of that edition. We follow the author with a sense of eager anticipation as he frames the interesting narrative of our subject's vision, mission, persistence, transformative power, and total commitment to bequeathing quality foundational education to the younger generations, not forgetting her admirable philanthropy that has lifted so many underprivileged youths out of unremitting poverty and misadventure in their life choices. Now, let's talk about Christie the educationist. I don't want to go into her, except to add that, like vicarage children, wherever our parents went, there we enrolled primary school, especially those foundational days. At times they transferred my father twice in a year, and we had to go to a new school each time. What I did for them, the Datubo branch children, was that it exposed them to many people, and also brought them a network of friendships that still endure in her life till today. At the University of Port Harcourt, Defini Datubo Brown, professor, the Surgeon General, plastic surgeon, we welcome people from all over. They came from Ibadan to visit him. They came from all over to visit him. And that each time he was coming to an inaugural lecture or something else, he would come with a new face. And when I said, oh, this person was with me in 1960 this. This person was with me in 1980 this. It shows that the nomadic life of a clergyman is reflected in the kind of education his children got. So, in many places she attended school, starting from Cold Camp in Enugu, and then she went on and on. But there was something about O.D.C. Brown. I earlier told you that he was both a dedicated man of God, a man of mountain-moving faith, and also a traditionalist in a sense. After a while, I think about 1951, he put Christie and Defini in an envelope and parceled them back to Bobo, that they should go and endure a year-long tutelage in a traditional African society. And so, of course, they had no say in the matter. To Opobo, they went to stay with their grandmother, who lived at Egwenga. Egwenga is in present-day Akwa Ibom State. So when they got there, the lady was unfortunate to take first in class. Quite unfortunate that she took first. Because when she went with a sense of invidious triumphalism to report her exploit of Daddy said, look at how you are boasting that you came first in a village school. she didn't know whether to cry or to laugh. But if he knew ODC very well, inside he was happy because Igwenga was not made up of dull students. So she continued, went back to Enugu to attend WTC, and then on, St. John's, and all that, College of Education. And before she moved on to Cardiff. And anybody who knows Cardiff is the center of education. That is, if you wanted to be a teacher, you had to go to Cardiff, no other place. That was the center of teaching. When it was the teacher education, that was available in Cardiff. And if you looked at the Cardiff alumni, they actually held Nigeria's educational success up to before, as our Lordship said, everything scattered. With teachers who need now to be taught themselves. That is the tragedy of our situation. We have now arrived at a point, as she rightly pointed out, where we have teachers with bogus PhDs, consummate illiterates with PhDs, born-again illiterates with PhDs, who now are face to face with our children. And guess what's happening? They have killed the next generation of Nigerian youths, where just to celebrate PhD, doctor, professor. Those prefixes matter now more than the capacity to teach students. If you go through the book and see what this woman did, you will understand that the gap her Lordship was lamenting about it will take about 50 years, the damage done by a crop of illiterate teachers who are all over the place. Some of them may be here. Now, in 1978, of course, she returned to Nigeria, having graduated way back in 76. Now, when she returned to Nigeria, they were now trying to put her here and there and there and there. Until, but you have to go back to 1965 when she met our father. He had just gained admission to enter the almighty UNN. And he needed to prove himself to be a man. What is a man without a companion, especially a budding and an undergraduate elect? So what did he do? He had no other place to look for a wife except in the ODC household, where there were barricades. How did he do it? He now took a group of his friends that they were going to invite Christie to attend the Opobo Students' Union meeting. You see him? This man gets kidney. Others have liver, he get kidney. So when he got there, trust ODC posed several jam-like questions to them. Aims and objectives of the meeting of the association. Sir Gabriel Toby knows how he answered that question. Then the next thing, rules and regulations of the associations. Sir Toby and his friends managed an answer. Then he went a step further. What time does the meeting hold? That was a very important question because he needed to know how much time Christie was going to be staying outside. And then she attended the meeting, so he got close to her, invaded her space. But it still didn't work. And so while he was at UNN, he returned home, and guess what? He made a bold, audacious proposal that he wanted to go to the ODC household at St. Peter's, where his Lordship now holds court. ODC was there as a very senior priest. This gentleman here told ODC that he wanted to come to his house to spend his holidays. Who does that? He wasn't married to Christie. What was he looking for in the ODC's backyard? By some inexplicable twist of good luck, ODC agreed. And then Sir Toby took a few things and arrived at St. Peter's. They ushered him into a room. But before he arrived, Mama Virginia had called Christie and warned her that they were going to have an August visitor. And when she inquired, it was Sir Toby. So she had a counter coup She plotted immediately that she was going on a 3-day visit because Sir Toby was to spend 3 days in their house. So she was going on a 3-day trip to her grandmother at Igwenga. And after Igwenga, she went. Well, she didn't know what was coming. Sir Toby spent 3 days in the house. He didn't see Christie. So, you know, when Wahala comes to your house, I tell Wahala, sorry, I don't have a chair for you to sit. I said, don't worry, I came with a mat. So, Sir Toby now shot beyond the runway. He extended his stay there. When Christie returned, Sir Toby was still there. I'm sure she asked him, what are you doing here? He said, I'm waiting for you to tell me yes. I'm going back to school to write my final exam. So, if you tell me yes, I will pass the exam. She didn't say yes until, like, everything between them was dramatic. One day, she was behind Agri Road and St. Cyprian's. She met her friend and they were walking. Who manifested? GTG Toby. And then her friend, of course, as women do, withdrew, and then somehow they talked. The next thing was, Christie was now looking for a way to leave. So Toby flagged down a taxi. As she entered the taxi, she said, would you mind? He said, yes, yes. And then Sir Toby now, his eyes lit up. He said, taxi, stop. Christie said, taxi, move. For over 58 years, she has been at her duty post as the undisputed matriarch of the Toby dynasty. And her certificate of occupancy has been laminated, undisputed occupancy. She's been there. But I will begin to round up, like Kabim has warned me. When she became a principal, she was like Jonah and the story of Nineveh. She didn't want to marry Sir Toby. She married him. She didn't want to go to St. Scholastica, where that gentleman said he was also schooled. A girls' school had 30 boys as part of St. Scholastica Girls' High School. What a contradiction. This gentleman just introduced himself to her when she arrived there. He was her student. She remembered St. Scholastica. When she arrived at St. Scholastica, kindly permit me to read what transpired. When she got there, she found out that the students there were completely unruly. The teachers didn't take notice of her arrival. They didn't know what was coming. She summoned an emergency assembly. She said, well, my name is Christie Toby. I'm the new principal. I hear you are rough. The students say, yes, ma'am. I hear you are outlaws. Yes, ma'am. I hear you are not disciplined. Yes, ma'am. Well, I have come with vim, Izal, and with Dettol. From this moment on, school starts on time and nobody leaves the gate until after closing time. They all said, yes, ma'am. When she left, when they redeployed her to Holy Rosary, Bacana, a delegation came from Bacana in a very, very irate mood to retrieve her back to Bacana. Of course, she couldn't go back to Bacana. Very distinguished and gentlemen. In that year in Bacana, 103 out of 104 students who registered for WAEC, to write WAEC, they all passed, except one who passed before she enrolled, because she had already passed somehow. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you about Dame Christie's life as a philanthropy. It's something you all know. Girls, she's a brownie. She was a brownie, and now she rose up to become a commissioner. And you can see those women behind her there. Those are the women who worked with her, and they had trained the next generation. And now she calls herself a TOEFL. And I tried to know what that meant. Somewhere down the book, I noticed that that meant people who are a little bit senior citizens who belong to the Girl Guide, but that they were now supporting the association with their, everything they had just to make sure the association continued, and she has continued to act as a role model ever since. I would then talk about her legacy. And you know, if you look at her legacy, you look at Abeg, the school she founded, I could blame my parents for not sending me to a school where I would play saxophone the way these girls played. And so you can see what she has done. And the reason she established the school was to ensure that what she couldn't do while she was in public school as a teacher, classroom teacher, and as a principal, that how to make the learning process impact on the children. She's doing it at Abeg. And Abeg has several branches. And then she had what they call a plovback. Plovback meant that she had administration. She said it's from God. But since she's not an ordained priest, I'm very, very circumspect about that. She established a school for challenged children. No proprietor I know in Port Harcourt does that. But she did, because that was not a profitable venture. So I wish to say, in conclusion, that there are a few. When I entered here, Ibim accosted me and asked me how I have dealt with the author's achievement, effort here. I told her that this is supposed to be a celebratory review, that I wasn't engaged in a combative, radioactive type we do at the university. But even at that, I still need to point out one or two things. By the standard of reference, if you look up there, you see doctor there. That's a graphic distortion. That shouldn't be in the title of the book. The title of the book should go without a graphic distortion, which you see there. That doctor was absolutely unnecessary because the doctor is severally inside the book. And everybody knows that Dame Christie is a PhD holder. And so it should have been in the book, because if I want to quote this book, that doctor would be very cumbersome for me, cumbersome thing for me to do. So that should be taken care of in this edition. Now, the next thing I need to say that we met Dame Christie. She had already served her youth service before. Down the pages, we now saw that she had gone to Cardiff. When I got there, I was stuck. I was trying to find out, should I call Ibim or to find out how she had completed her NYSC without a bachelor's degree. We had to come down the book to see that she had gone to Cardiff in 1978. She had actually passed in 76. And so that should be rectified. The other thing we need to talk about is the Archbishop of Jos, who actually gave her the title of a vicarage girl, and by extension, me as a vicarage boy. The Archbishop Emeritus, Desmond Kwashi, you know, the author had made an allusion that her father, the Venerable Odyssey, was at Jos at some point, and that Jos was under the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Church of Nigeria, Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion. That cannot be factually correct, because at that time, the Church of Nigeria was part of the Church of England. And those of you who follow ecclesiastical history very well know exactly what brought about the split. So that also needs to be rectified. Finally, with what I call the dark spots in the book. This book, the 18 chapters, they are very episodic, meaning that the storylines at some point do not quite join together. And if it is episodic, this means that it almost looks like a collection of short stories. In the second edition, Dame Christie is young. She's 80 years young. She will live long. The second edition should come out while she's still alive. All those ones should be rectified. There should be an organic linkage from one chapter to the other, what we call the run-on lines, so that the book will listen. But having said that, let me read my conclusion, and I want to also say that then Dr. Christie Toby derives joy in helping other family members, friends and total strangers alike, especially the less privileged, as her own way of expressing gratitude to God for all his mercies, some of them undeserved. For instance, she's a cancer survivor. She's undergone several health challenges, but the medical miracles saved her, and she's saved by grace, much of the grace, undeserved. She's a bundle of miracles and a mentor and guide of young people in our utilitarian society. In this society, people know the price of everything, but they know the value of nothing, especially the younger people. So, As we run down the book, there's one pain in this woman's heart in the book. That pain is that she lost her son, her first child, a son, in 1968. And that was the heat of the war. At that time, she didn't have ordinary ORT, salt sugar solution. And the boy died of dehydration arising from diarrhea. In the book, she kept returning to that theme over and over again. And so she was really, really unhappy about that. But God blessed her with Ibim and the others. And so she's still a happy woman. Now, chapter 18 of this wonderful biography by Dotu Adekambi is replete with superlative testimonies of what other people say about this woman under the apt subtitle, The Christie We Know. Also read the commentary on page 346 entitled Christie Toby in her own words. Finally, her first daughter Ibim rounds up the book with a fantastic epilogue in which she describes her mother's life story as, quote, one woman's unshakable faith, hostile, and a sprinkle of divine intervention. That's at page 351. In all, the 18 loaded chapters of this remarkable book, spanning 358 pages, guide the reader through the Christie Toby's Spartan upbringing in the vicarage, to a good Christian life girl, to the corporate and community life, to the teaching profession, to the riveting drama that led to her wedlock, and to the blissful coexistence with the love of her life. The Socratic-looking Alabos Sir Gabriel Toby, DSSRS, former deputy governor of Rivers State, and my former chairman of my own governing council. In fact, when he arrived at the University of Port Harcourt, he summoned me to Kelechi Street. I've never been there. And he asked me to brief him about a couple of things. As I kept briefing him, on one occasion I went to see him at the Pro-Chancellor Lodge. He now said, how can one university have multiple accounts and prepare to cure them of that virus? And he did. He called a council meeting and ensured that those accounts were collapsed. And so when you read the book, it's not that the author said it. It's not that the madam said it to him. It's that these people you see, they are from O.D.C. Brown down to his daughter and to our father here. These are people who are very, very uncomfortable with the word corruption. They can't spell the word corruption, and they detest those who are corrupt around them. This gentleman insisted that the University of Port Harcourt learned how to do things properly, and the vice chancellors were complaining. They didn't know, other council members were scared of him. They didn't know what they thought it was. They came to chop as they do. But Sir Toby disappointed. Even at some point, I started avoiding him because I didn't want him to censor me too. He was very serious about it. By the time he left, most of those accounts had been closed down because they were actually frivolous accounts people were using to, you know what I mean? I have 5 more words. Thank you for listening. I have to go on to personally hand over this. I've never been close to her before. I've been to her house eating her food. I've never met her in person.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Dr. Williams Wardy. Wardy, make you know, carry that picture, go banco. They will just give you loan straight. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That's a journalist. The beautiful part of being a journalist is that they are not 100% your friend. When you invite them to occasion, once there is a small little news that will hit headline, and it is the bad news, they will write it and forget your occasion. That's journalism. They tell the truth, they say the truth, and they are straight to the facts. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Wardy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Wardy, mind how you touch her. Now, Okrika man be her husband. And the Yamanabo of Okrika is also here. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, but please, before you deploy Plan B, according to Dr. Wardy, make sure that you went to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Just like one other lady here who also married somebody from University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And the man dazzled her with good English, sweet English, fine boy, everything. And didn't tell her the geography of Ndoni. The very first time she went to Ndoni, she got to the site of the Pontu, where Pontu will cross a river. And she turned back and looked at him and said, Peter, you didn't tell me about this. And by that time, knowing my former boss, he spoke in flawless Igbo, he said, Oforon takri takri airwe. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. At this point in time, I'd like to invite, if you look at the banner, you see Dotun Adekombi. And the book reviewer said it's an episodic book, but there's also another name. He didn't tell us the difference between a biography and autobiography. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to invite Dr. Adekombi to come briefly and tell us. That's the author of the book. Put your hands together for him. To sit down and write, transcribe, and say everything about somebody. It's a very difficult task. Thank you so much, Dr.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Protocol is a bit of a nightmare for me. So, as they say, I'm going to stand on existing protocol. You know, how did this book come about? In journalism, we say there's always a story behind a story. When Ibim came to me and said, Doctor, I would like you to do this story, I said, Ibim, why are you, as young people of this day say, why are you whining me? Because Ibim is an award-winning journalist. So why can't she do the story herself? And that was how the story behind the story came about. And we did this for almost a year before she just sent me a note one day and said, Doctor, look, this event for which we planned the book is coming up in just a couple of months. And I said, Ibim, are you really serious? And that was when I knew I got into trouble. But then, by training, I'm a journalist and now a biographer. It's been my good fortune, so to speak, to have written on very old people. Incidentally, she's very young, 83. If you look at the people I have had to write about, the average age is about 77, I think. I have one who is going to be 90 in October. So, and I then used to tell my friends, I said, look, I work with old people, and by extension, it means that I'm going to be very old. Now, what is this story all about? I won't have to go into that because it is very well detailed in the book. But then, the issue that we have to look at, when I started the project, I said, 83-year-old woman, let me pity her. How do we begin to go about this? And, you know, you would have thought that, okay, let us talk in the morning and all of that. When I called her, she would say, Doctor, I think we can speak around 9 p.m. And I was like, 9 p.m., 83-year-old. How are we going to manage it? The first few interviews were like, okay, 9 o'clock, we'll go on and on and on. And then I'll be checking my time. It's getting nearer 12, near midnight. And this woman is still so fresh. I was now even beginning to doubt my own age. Because it was like now that I'm the older person. We went about it. And then when we finished, I asked her, I said, Mommy, how far about this thing? She said, Shebi, it's you and Ibim that wants to write a book. You have written it. I said, okay. And she said, at the rate at which we are going, given the length of the interviews, won't this book be up to about 1,000 pages? Again, we were able to do the needful. And there are critical milestones for me in this assignment. One is the fact that it validates a whole lot of things. Which principle of which, according to to positive thinkers, is that if you can dream something, if you have the vision, and you believe in it, you can actually achieve it. One of the things she said to me whilst we were doing this was that when she had to, you finish primary school, you go to secondary school, natural progression. But when she finished primary and all of that, and the father was now pushing her towards teaching, it was like, why would she have to go via that route? But teaching she went into, and then she went through all the grades of teaching. And then, one thing she said, which I held on to, is that in all that she has set out to do, nobody among her peers will be ahead of her. That was a personal challenge. So, when you begin to look at the fact that she has a primary school certificate, she has TC2, she has NCE, she has bachelor's, master's, and a PhD. How many of her mates have climbed through that same ladder? That, for me, was quite instructive. And then, the things that her students said about her. Some of them, when they faced challenges, not just in the course of academics, but in their everyday life, like we recounted in one of the chapters, when one of the students had an issue, and they said to her, "Why are you so bothered about this issue? Have you forgotten the Mrs. Toby's way?" Mrs. Toby's way simply says, you work hard, you work diligently, you do what you need to do at the appropriate time, and believe that you can overcome that problem. So when somebody spoke of Mrs. Toby's way, me too now, I said, okay, so we've got to write this book. Let me try the Mrs. Toby's way. And going by the reaction, it has worked that way. Yeah. Beyond that, one will have to look at one other thing she said. In her professional life, especially when she had to make a detour from teaching to hotel management, I asked her, how did you do it? Simple. Just stay focused, know what you want to do, and go ahead and achieve it. And to her credit, and something that the then wife of the military administrator said to her, the best man for the job is a woman. She has proven it with her life. She's proven it with her achievements. And I believe, even at 83, the day is still very much young. So the best man still is a woman. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a very difficult job to do, to interview somebody and formally write everything about it. Thank you so much, Dr. Thank you. We have in our midst a lot of people. Please permit me that, Mr. Chairman, I take leave of you to break protocol by announcing that we have here the State Chairman of the APP, River State, Chief Sonny Wokekoro. We also have here, where is he? We also have here a representative of the Amainabo Bonny, Sir Alabo Evans Brown. And all the way from Anambra, we have Honorable Engineer Dom Okafor, member of the House of Reps, represented by Arinze Eziaku. We also have His Royal Highness Frank Koko Amainabo Kokoama. And I've been looking for her. They said, oh, Dame Aleruchi Kukigan, former Secretary to Government. We also have here Dame Alice Nemi, former Commissioner for Education, River State. And Honorable Dakuku Peter Side. Why are you clapping? Oh, has he called you Pokoro before? You know, in Opobo, they used to say that if Oyibo can be Pokoro, anybody can be Pokoro. We have a lot of people, ladies and gentlemen, but Engineer Adokie Tubonime, represented by my friend Ayarite Douglas. You know, once you start to hear these names, you know that we are coming for the big one. But before then, ladies and gentlemen, if you look directly in front of you, you see 4 white chairs. Oh, thank you. Well, we also have here another of our sisters, Sotoye Fulton. Where is she? Of the Simplified Movement. Put your hands together for her. She's also a media person. You know, when it comes to communication, people will be very partial. In front of you are 4 white chairs for 4 disciples of academics. But I will talk too much. But first, let me start by inviting the moderator of the panelists. They are all people whom I cannot speak about, but I'll just invite them. Thereafter, the moderator takes over. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite the moderator, M.M. Okon, to please step forward and take her place. Dr. M.M. Okon. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mrs. M.M. Okon, please lead her up to take her seat. And also to be with her there are the other panelists. First is from the River University and from the Science Education constituency or background or department. I'd like to invite Professor Telma Adolphus to please. That's Professor Telma Adolphus. And as he's making his way up, I also like to invite, this time, another man, a former Vice Chancellor of the River State University, Professor Barineme Fakai. Put your hands together for him. Otherwise called BB Fakai. You know, Professor Fakai and Ibim Sometari are 2 of the few persons in River State that we can comfortably say the government begged to be appointed. That's capacity. When you've got it, you've got it. And of course, another lady among them is Dr. Mrs. Janet Olufumilayo Williams. From the River State University, and interestingly, she is of the 92 set of Holy Rosary Secondary School, where Mrs. Toby was the principal. But we won't say what happens in that school, many things. It was a very fine school. She is from the microbiology department of the Faculty of Science. Now it is properly constituted. It's my honor and privilege to formally step aside. Yes, a microphone is coming for you. Please take a microphone to her. Lexi, take a microphone to her. Dr. M.M. Okon is of the Kebet Keche. She will call it very well. Vibrant, knowledgeable. No, take the microphone to the chairman. No, middle. Yeah. Okay, they all have microphones. Lexi, you have gone digital, though. Even though you see the old many persons cassettes. Some are now retired since you promised them cassettes. Thank you so much. Dr. M.M. Okon, over to you.
Thank you very much. I seek the permission to sit on existing protocols. And I'll start by telling Mommy congratulations. I read, and I was so as I was saying, I read through the book, and I became so inspired by the book and the life of Dr. Christie Toby. Congratulations once again, Mommy. The topic for the panel is the place of education in raising the next generation of leaders. And the panel is quite capable to facilitate and lead the discussion on this topic. I don't know how much time we have, but we will start by going through the panel and saying something on the topic, the place of education in raising the next generation of leaders. After that, we will go around again and ask specific questions to the panelists before we open it up and take 2 or 3 questions or comments from the audience. And then we come back to the panelists for their final words. In fact, when I read the book, the last thing the reviewer said really struck me. The best man for the job is a woman. And I reflected on all the efforts we have made to promote increased participation of women in governance and all the initiatives and campaigns women leadership. And everything I have read about Dr. Christie Toby started as far back as in the 70s, even before then, her childhood, her parenthood. I did not see anywhere in her life where the parents say, because it's a girl, she shouldn't be educated. She had the encouragement from her father and from her mother. And all through her ventures in the schools that she read, she exhibited that leadership, and there was nowhere she felt hindered or limited because of her gender. She did excellently well. And now for the panelists, it is left for us to build on what the story in the book and encourage all of us here in our different sphere of responsibility as leaders, what to do to take it forward, to build and develop the next generation of leaders. I will start with Professor Fakeye. Professor Fakeye is a Commonwealth scholar. He's a professor of veterinary parasitology. He has been a rector at the Rivers State Polytechnic. He's also a former Vice Chancellor of Rivers State University. He's noted for his people's-oriented and transformational leadership qualities. Prof, we want to hear your take on the place of education, a young generation of leaders. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. I think without wasting time, there is no question about the role of education in shaping the future generation. But I think I'll just say we have 3 minutes. What I can say is this. Let's not just say education. Let's say quality education. Because Her Excellency, legal luminary, had mentioned something as if she was reading my mind when she came and said she would say something about teachers. I didn't want to say much because there are those on Faculty of Education here. And I said, those who should be custodians of education, we are finding that they are not representing the profession well. Why should there be exam malpractice in Faculty of Education? That's the question, if you are training teachers. And so what I think we should be talking about here, and how the subject we're talking about, I call her Mom is Mom. She was able to stand because she had quality education. And quality education gives confidence. I've actually been in the battle of even fighting the staff union. Everybody knew my fight with ASU. And I said, you've not come out any day to talk about those who are not doing well, who are practitioners. But you are talking about your welfare. And I stood against that, and I said, what was important was to see whether we are meeting the dreams of the founding fathers. We were supposed to educate. Are we educating? And so, for us to have leaders that can stand, they must have quality education, because that is the only thing that can give confidence. I think we can discuss thereafter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. The next panelist, we will go to Professor Telema Adolphus, who used to be one of Dr. Christie Toby's students at Bacana, at St. Scholastica Girls High School, Bacana. And he's the man. He was one of the boys in the girls' school. So you're going to tell us about the place of education in raising young leaders. And then, how did it feel to be one of the boys in a girls' school?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be in this panel, to be on this panel, to have this discussion. And like I've been rightly introduced, I was one of the boys in 1978 that mixed up the girls' school in Bacana. And then we stayed for 2 years. I think it was in 1979 or so, or 1980. Yeah. And then when we were just about going, and then our mommy came as our principal. And we used to enjoy a very tiny voice at that time. You know. So thank you. So looking at that, addressing the question, like my boss, my former vice chancellor has said, we are talking about education, quality education. We'll be talking about functional education. Functional education where students and learners have some skills at the end of the educational process when they undergo that, so that they'll be able to contribute meaningfully to society. If we're talking about leaders of tomorrow, why do we need leaders? We need leaders, we need them to have some skills, we need them to understand what society is, what challenges society is going through and all that. And for us, for them to have that and to be able to fit in as leaders tomorrow, it is important that they have these critical skills. They have critical skills, they have problem-solving skills, they have innovative skills and ideas. And if they have to do that, and then what education, of course, we know very elementarily, I'm not going into etymological definitions of education, elementarily a process where learners have some skills and all that and knowledge to be able to fit well into a society and contribute to the society. And so if that has to be done, then it is important that we look at it, how our young ones in the school system will be able to have these skills. What resources do we have? If we go to teacher training, for instance, how equipped are the teachers? There are questions we need to ask. How equipped? What resources do teachers have? And all that. And society also has a perception. I've heard it in this place where they talk about teachers, whether teachers are what they ought to be, or whether they are actually doing what they ought to do or give to our young ones. But the thing is also societal. How does the society perceive teachers? And what kind of concern or what kind of focus is given to teacher education and teacher training? And because of that, it's just like garbage in, garbage out. You go to most of our schools, there are no buildings, there are no infrastructure, dilapidated. You see a lot of the teachers not paid. I was once a classroom teacher, and the time I felt not happy, so to say, being a classroom teacher, was when we are to be paid. And then we have to all come. All the teachers will come to the local government council. And then they will now bring people from ministry will come. And then they will ask them, bring your lesson note. And people will see teachers on the field, sitting down on the floor from morning till evening, waiting for that kind of exercise before salaries will be paid. And people in the town, I was teaching in GSS Ogu at that time. And then we have to come to Okrika at that national field. And people will be passing by. They say, what are they doing here? They say they want to pay teachers, so, you know, and all that. And so what society has. And so this has also reflected into the quality of people who are engaged or recruited to teach. In some other climes outside, to become a teacher is very difficult. I've been privileged to be in teacher education in the United Kingdom, having taught in Scotland and England by the grace of God. And to be a teacher there, for you to be a teacher, is very difficult. You have to pass through screening and examinations and all that, and they get just the best inside. In Nigeria, reverse is the case, where students fail to get admission into engineering, into law, into all that, they bring them to education. So the quality of people we recruit is also a problem. So when we have that, and then we get the right kind of people, and then we give them the resources, we give them everything, I believe that teachers still have the capacity to pass on right education to our young ones, giving them skills, giving them knowledge, providing that confidence that they need, and everything to be able to understand the society and to see how they can fix our tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Okay, he raised the issue of facilities, inadequate facilities in school. And this makes me to recall one of the stories in the book about how Dr. Christie Toby in Bacana Girls High School leveraged on the social clubs in the community to provide those things that the school did not have. There was a VIP that the school dirty. And when she got to know, she made the VIP to provide a fridge for the school. She didn't ask for money. So the VIP, the honorable member of the house, cheerfully provided the fridge. Identified all later. Reached out to the school so that they can be part of it. So that in our country have the next.
Yeah, yeah.
I would like to take a cue from you, the moderator, sitting on existing protocols. It's actually really very wonderful that I can sit before my superhero. I mean, she's called our royal mother. My first encounter with Mommy Toby was when my friend, 11-year-old girls, were talking and, were discussing about, do we move to Abloma? I was telling my friend, I'm not going to move to Abloma. I'm going to stay there in Holy Rosary, and I'm sure I will be great. And she said, no, she will move. And Mommy Toby passed by and came back and saw these two little girls and said, little girls, how are you? And we were like, oh, fine, ma, our hero, And she said, you don't need to move to any school. You can stay here and become great and everything you desire to be in life. It took 11 years. It stuck on my heart. And I desired a time when I would become the picture she painted to me. And I'm so privileged that God orchestrated our paths. When she was 80, I sent her a message, and the rest is history, apart from the fact that I didn't even know that my parents, Venerable Dr. and Mrs. Bayo Dukoya, are very close family friends. I never knew. I knew they used to mention ODC Brown, Papa, Mama, and all that. But now, where I would like to start from, we need to understand the basis. What is education? Education is actually from two Latin words, educare. Educare means to nourish, and educare means to drag out. One important thing beyond the formal education is informal education as well. One thing that any generation could give to the next generation is an irrevocable gift of education. I mean, that is the gift, the greatest gift you can give to the next generation is an irrevocable gift of education. Now, first of all, I want us to understand who a leader is. And Mommy Toby stands as that picture. A leader is a gardener cultivating success, not just for herself, but the success of the next generation. And in every category and classification, Mommy Toby stands out as that. Now, what is the role of education? What is the place of education in the next generation? Beyond curriculum-based, youth empowerment is key. Beyond curriculum-based, we need to look at how we could impute to ensure that the children that are coming forth are developed leadership-wise. How do we develop the leadership skills in children? And that was one thing Mommy Toby did. Beyond talking, she made sure our postures were intact. We were prime and pros. I mean, you don't walk carelessly. You don't sit carelessly. You don't talk carelessly. She imputes in us the leadership that we should have. And I must say that when youth leadership development is imputed in the next generation, empowerment and opportunities, the rest is history. I want to say that when young people are inspired, it gives us the key for the next generation. And Mommy Toby is an ardent follower, one who mettled out and proved which she is. And at the end of the day, you can see our product seated right before every one of us. Thank you.
Because of time, we would like to take 1 or 2 comments from the audience before we take the final comments from the panelists. 1 or 2 comments. Do we have hands up? Okay. There's one over there, and I think there's one here. Can we restrict our comment to 1 minute each, please?
Hello, 1, 2. 1, 2. Yes, madam. Sorry, is it possible to move to here? Thank you so much. Please be very brief. We have all items on the program.
Greetings to my senior, my mommy. I was one of her students in Holy Rosary. I finished in 1985. My name is Mrs. Okrika Adiele. Our mommy actually taught us how to be decent girls. She imputed in us morals that had been imbibed in me. It hasn't gone out of me till today. One thing I should be reckoned of is morality. And that is what she built in us. And every morning at the devotion hall, I was a chapel prefect then, she would always speak of we being morally sound, we being coming to be mothers of tomorrow, to talk to other children. And we never started. In fact, her advice to us was more than what our biological mothers would do to us. We are proud of her. Thank you, Mommy. Long life, more prosperity. You have impacted in us, and we are impacting to the next generation. God bless you, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next one, so that they just take the last one. The last one. All right. We'll now go back to the panelists. Thank you.
So we will take the final comments from the panelists, and we'll start with Professor Adolphus.
So thank you very much. Like all we have said, education plays very key role, and for that to be done, to be evident for us to see in our young ones, the place of mentorship or mentoring, where those who have the responsibility are seen as good mentors, exemplary in their conduct and all that, so that the young generation we are trying to teach or to bring up, they will see the examples in us, like we have talked about our mommy here. She was a very positive example, and we have seen that, and we are growing by living by it. And I'm sure when teachers are made to have that kind of model with values and ethics, we'll be able to raise a better generation for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We are sorry.
They are all acting up. Okay.
This technical things happen.
Yes. What I wanted to say, after reading through the book, Mom, I now found, that's why I asked the question. One thing is important, that somebody who is going to be involved in educating people must be passionate. It must be a calling. And I saw the calling in, that is why you were able to improvise. If not so, you would have been complaining. I know that government has a place in making sure we get it right. But I think where people have passion and they have the calling, things definitely get better. And so that is why I said I joined Her Excellency to say, let's come back and look again at our teachers, those who should teach. That is the thing, that if we have people with passion, they may probably improvise. It's going to be part of them. For the universities, as we go through, when we step into the university, we don't use, we don't say our teacher. we say my lecturer. That personal thing is what I think people have to say. I want to produce my own kind. And if that is in place, maybe we'll be able to produce leaders that will show, like they are mentioning, you taught us this, we saw you do this. And it is not do as I say, but you also say do as I do. I think if the emphasis is put that side, we may be able to get leaders. Thank you very much.
I am very privileged to have Her Excellency, Dame Dr. Christie Toby, our royal mother, who has taught us and shown us, like God's word will say, teach and command. She didn't only teach. And I think that's one thing very important. We need to teach, we also command. We need to insist that things are done the right way. I'm also very privileged to be seated right beside my former VC. He was the one that employed me. And now your little baby girl is an associate professor. I mean, that's amazing. He brought me. So, and one beautiful thing that God has helped me to do, coming from a background like that of Mommy Toby, coming from the vicarage girl background, my dad, Venerable Doctor, and my mom, Mrs. Bayo Dukoya, is exactly what is written here. There is no child that is ineducable. And I've carried that passion right into school. For everyone that has been a student underneath my tutelage can confess, because I ensure that I lead them to the part of making the confession that God has not given them the spirit of fear, but of power, love, sound mind, the healing of their minds, the healing of their mental faculties. To be candid, I've seen them metamorphose. People that were on past degree, they moved on to the next, even from the second class and up to the second class and first class. So it's a privilege. Education is very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the panelists for sharing your insights on the topics, and I also thank the audience for your patience and for listening to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together for them. In the education world, we don't know how they take sign out, but in the social circle, we know how to do it. Thank you so much. Prof, thank you. Prof, while you were talking, one of your students said, you used to make sure that she dresses well when at the girls' high school. No, boys' high school. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please, ushers, assist, put the podium back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gradually coming to the high point. The podium, thank you. Please put back the podium there. But I'd like to recognize in our midst, a lot of women are going places. I'd like to recognize in our midst Professor Mrs. Priye Iyala Amadi. Of course, oh, madam, we are sorry. We are sorry. That's the wife of the iconic Elechi Amadi, the author that we all know very well. Now there are a lineup of them. We also have please, as the lists are coming, I'll be recognizing you. I have a Dr. Charles Befi Winley here. Dakuku Peter side. Okay, I'd called him before. A lot of them. And there is a vibrant young man here called Mayor of Housing. Mayor of Housing. Where in the? Oh, okay. Sir, we are coming to you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to inform you that we'll just take one item. Thereafter, the governor will speak. But now, we'll formally address Mommy first, or unveil the book. Don't you think we should unveil it? Okay, Mommy will speak before we unveil it. Please put your hands together for the lady, madam, teacher, everything. We're going to clap for her. Thank you. When you come off. Oh, she wants to stay here. Mommy, are you okay? He has so directed that you stay here. Oh, to bring down the podium. Okay. Oh, please bring down the podium. You can see it's very strong. People who went to University of Nigeria and Suka, they have command and power. They know how to control even justices of the Supreme Court. Thank you.
Permit me to start with a song. Lord, I would own thy tender care, Lord, thy love to me. Therefore, thy is the clothes I wear. Ah, best on belly. Thou preservest me from death and danger every hour. I cannot run on the breath unless thou givest me my altar, friends and parents, yeah, to thee, my God, I give. I have not any blessing here, but what is sent from heaven. Such goodness, Lord, and constant care, I never can repay. But may it be my daily prayer to love thee and obey. Thank you very much. The chairman, my beloved sister, this lady here, I don't want to start. She is more than anything anybody can call her. When you say the man for the job is a woman, she's one of those women who we are playing men. The chairman for today, my sister, Your Excellency, Honorable Justice Mary Odele, Justice of the Supreme Court. I hope that, unfortunately, my children are on holidays, because it's good when they come and see young ladies turn into adults, responsible ladies. Young men turn into adult, responsible men. They know that the sky is their starting point. So, Your Excellency, you are welcome, because we know you were raised by the teacher. I don't know who is here that was not raised by the teacher. But when you ask children to choose profession, they don't remember that teaching is a profession, that professor in the university, the vice chancellor, the judge were taught by teachers, that if you're a medical doctor and you are in teaching hospital, you are a teacher of medical students. His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, was taught by the teacher. So is the Secretary to State Government, and all of us here. We thank you for coming, because nothing stops him from, though he will be busy somewhere else, say, okay, I'm busy, I can't come. But because he is interested, he made sure somebody is here to represent him. We are not taking him for granted. As I reflect on the journey that has been chronicled in the biography, I am filled with a deep sense of gratitude and humility. I find myself looking back with appreciation to the many experiences and milestones that have shaped my career in education and administration. When, with the prompting of my father, who was scared that if he didn't insist I started early into teaching, I may deviate. When I know that my mother ensured that I took care of my younger ones, I happened to be the first. By the way, they were waiting for 8 years because I was bluffing. I made sure they waited enough. And when I came, I brought other 9. But you see, I brought them, I didn't know. If I knew I was bringing them to come and serve them, I would have taken time. I wouldn't have brought many. I thought my father saw that I was taking care of them so much, he decided to make me a teacher. Yeah, Daddy. I embarked on this path decades ago. I was not sure of how far or whether those first steps will lead me. My goal was simple: to contribute to the field of education in a way that will make a meaningful difference. You can go into a place and finish and go, no difference. Little did I know that this journey will not only enrich my own life, but also touch the lives of so many other people. By the way, let me stop here to be proud of my students. It's because of them that I am here. God bless you all. When I look around and see them, and as I enter, I said, Ma, you were my principal in St. Scholar when I was in Form 2. And he is a professor. Child. And the others are so many things, so many things. Then I see that the exercise was not in futility. Throughout my career, I've had the privilege of working alongside extraordinary individuals and teams. Together, we have navigated challenges, embraced innovations, and celebrated successes. When I see these little children of 10, 11-year-olds, by the time they finish, they are 16, 17. Some of them may not know how to wash their shirts or pants. But by the time they are in Form 2, what do you call them now? Class 5. Because they have made many things. Started from class to grade, to 12th grade, to 11th grade. And they become prefects, giving instructions. Come on, will you sit there? Go and clean this place. They forgot that they themselves couldn't clean this place when they were in Form 1. And my fear mainly was, if this child doesn't do well, most times they don't remember the parents. The teacher didn't teach them well. Which school did you attend? Before they ask who is your parent, which school did you attend? It rubs off on the teacher. The commitment and passion of those I've worked with have been a constant source of inspiration and motivation to me. In revisiting my own story, I am reminded of the lessons learned and the values that have guided me. The importance of adaptability, because you must adapt to everybody. Like we said, no child is ineducable. If the child is low, you come down to that level and bring that child up to the level that child should be. And at the end, the child makes a fantastic WAEC result, gets good JAM results, moves into the university, because chairman, CEO of. Then you see them, the joy is inexplainable. Those who are not teachers don't understand how we feel. As education continues to evolve, I remain hopeful, like our chairman said, and I know that having said so, and where she is now, she'll make sure that the proper things are done. Thank you. You are in the right place now. I'm deeply thankful to the support and encouragement I have received throughout my career. The biography is not just a reflection of my own achievements, but a celebration of the collective efforts of everyone who has been a part of this journey. Thank you for your continued support and for the journey and joining me in this reflection on a life dedicated to raising children. Can you imagine if I had a husband who would say, you haven't done too much, sit down for house, now waiting. Would I have continued? Oh, you leave so very early in the morning, 7 o'clock, you're out from the house, make sure the breakfast is there, cover it so that it doesn't go cold, and you run off to school, and something happens, a child is sick, you take the child to the hospital, by the time you come back home, it is 5 or 6 o'clock. My friend, whatever I bring in the house, let's eat it. Stay here, you're going nowhere. Would you go? We wouldn't have been together for 58 years, going 59. Darling, God bless you. It is my hope that the story shared within these pages will serve as a reminder of the positive impacts that education and passion can have on our work. You saw some of our children who came up the stage had been mentioned already. I think there's one behind me. The fact is that if you gave birth to 3 or 5 children and one is visually impaired or hearing impaired or physically impaired or is autistic, you won't throw that child away, will you? But that child will not go to regular school because the child will not understand, will not see, will not hear. And that child, when you see the children being very aggressive, they are only reacting that you have left them uncared for. So they feel cheated by life. So when you go to Christie Toby Inclusive Education Center, you see regular children who move from other schools. So children who are hearing impaired, and they will be conversing with their hands. And if you clap like this, the hearing impaired will hear. So you do like this, the hearing impaired knows you are clapping. And the visually impaired cannot take notes, so has a recorder by the side and has a brailing to work on. And they love themselves. In the swimming pool, they are chatty. They are all talking to one another. Nobody feels inferior to the other. They like one another. They don't feel life has cheated them. Again, we did not think we should have a mixed school. Not that mixed school is bad, of both day and boarding. That's what I mean by mixed school. If you want to board, you owe the strict rules and regulations of a boarding house. Contain yourself. Those who came out to play some instruments here for us, we made sure that the day school is specifically for day. After school, go home. And the boarding school is strictly for boarding. So the uniforms differ. You cannot sneak into the hostel if you are a day student. You cannot move out of the compound if you are a boarder. His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminala Efubara, GSSRS, is the chairman of today's, the chairman of today's occasion, sweetheart, is my mama, the wife of my former governor, the one-time first lady of Rivers State. When you read the book, you will see how we worked in synergy. Because I was State Commissioner of Girl Guides, when she was ensuring that skills acquisition was done everywhere else, she ensured there was skills acquisition at the guys' headquarters for the girl child. When I cried on her shoulder that we needed a bus, she provided a bus for the Excellency. I want to seize this opportunity to tell the world that you were a fantastic girl. Thank you. Thank you so very much for honoring us. Coming here, when you have time for other things, you push them aside to come and share this great moment with me. May God bless you and grant you all your heart desires. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Just watch what will happen between them now. You know, Ibim wanted to put me into trouble. She said I should go and tell her mother to round up. I looked at her and also looked at Madam. And I took the safest way out. Was to wait and tell her, Madam, thank you so much. You know, this issue of being strict reminds me of what happened at her 88th birthday. 88th. No, 83rd also. Yeah, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with the figures. Then it was Dr. Obiesekibo who was there. And there was an old principal, Mrs. Ogare. Those days, the iron ladies of principal of ACGMGS. How many persons went to ACGMGS here? Oh, okay. When we introduced her, nobody remembered. Is that the woman? Then Dr. Obiesekibo now said something, which till date we don't know the answer. He now looked and said, this woman punished me. The question is, principal of a girls' school punished a student, a man. Sir, we want that explanation today. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We have now come to what I call, we're gradually rounding up, but now we have to do a formal presentation of this book. And it is my privilege to invite the chief presenter, who is the CEO and MD of Chairborne Global Services Limited, Mr. Adokie Ipuke. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Simelala Efubra, DSSRS, ably represented by the Secretary to the Government, Sir Tami Danagogo, the Chairman of the occasion, Justice Mary Odili, JSC, my mom, Dame Dr. Christie Toby, and our father, Sir Gabriel Toby, traditional rulers. I know Ibim reeled out the protocol with such precision. I know I cannot follow what she did. But let me also recognize my elder, Alabo Abiesekibo, Achi the Fourth, and my aunties, Virginia Major, and the rest, our other aunties here. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The Tobys, Sir Gabriel Toby and Dame Christie Toby, have been my parents' most oldest friends that I've known since I was born. And I know the former Deputy Governor is my godfather when I was baptized in 1976. And Dame Christie Toby is the godmother to my brother, if I'm not mistaken, my sister. And so I was very excited when I was told to be a presenter for this book. I just finished a bout of malaria. I'm not feeling well, but I insisted that I had to fly down to Port Harcourt yesterday to attend this ceremony. So it gives me great pleasure to be here. This book, being authored by Dotu Adekambi, award-winning journalist and biographer. What I believe about biographies, biographies are very precise to me, unlike autobiographies, because autobiographies, you could embellish your achievements and all that. But when you call an award-winning journalist and biographer to write a biography, you know his quality and his reputation and integrity is at stake, so he has to tell the truth. And I've known Dame Toby for almost all my life, and I'm almost 53 now. And I know that everything written in this book is true, apart from the part when I wasn't born. I now see where the energy comes from. I now see that your grandmother had to walk 42 kilometers all the way to convince your father to be a priest. And the same thing, your father had to convince you to be a teacher too. So from reading part of this book, I found out that they say you are a reincarnation of your grandmother. You were born after she died, and that you looked exactly like her. So that is where the respect that they all give to you as your siblings and the rest and everyone. So I remember as a child on Akasa Street, now Akoma Street, all of us living like family, we were running around with, then it was Telema of blessed memory, that was my friend. And I always knew Auntie to always have been in the choir. So I wasn't surprised when I listened to how you sing even at this age. And the quality of even how you direct the students of your academy, even when they were standing and presenting the musical presentation. I cannot imagine that a school that has students who do sign language, very impressive, man, very impressive. So, in the last number of years, I have not seen Auntie for such a long time. And here I am at the Bishop's Court going to, I did not greet my Lord Bishops because I'm supposed to be given a knighthood soon, so I didn't recognize them. So here I am at an interview, and I look at her and I said, is she the one or is one of our younger sisters? Because she still looks so young. And then they call me in for the interview, and she says, look at this small boy. I knew him. So then I realized she was the one. And then her sister, Virginia Major, came to the house to give me the Paul Harris Fellowship of Rotary. And then she said a lot about what had been going on. I asked her a lot about you too. Then again, award-winning journalist Ibim comes to the house and convinces me to join Rotary. So all this in succession, all this year. So I said, maybe this is something that was planned or ordained that I will come to launch this book. But the thing is, people like Dame Toby they're cheap off the old block. You don't find them that good. I read this book, a few chapters of it, I've not finished. But what struck me in the description of what I've seen is the review by Coco Kalango, where she said the book is a peep into the making of Lady Christie Toby, from the sheltered preacher's daughter, the naive bride to a matriarch. It's a reader's friendly handbook for parenting, marriage, faith, career, politics, and social intervention. I think that best describes her. I believe that people like this are hard to find these days. The country, I don't know where we're headed, but to me, my own description of this book is that it's a life story of a virtuous woman who was chosen to make a name over money. That was advice her father gave to her. Me, I would prefer to make a name and also make money myself. So, I believe that you are a role model. You are a role model, and as you said, as you were making your remarks, you said people forget that teaching is a profession. All of us, everybody wants to make money. They forget that people have to teach. And as you have been a role model to a lot of professors and very, very intelligent people, I see the fantastic and masterful book reviewer, Professor Wadi, and his work and the rest of them. You're also a role model to even entrepreneurs and business people like us. And we look up to you, and we believe that people like you, if people look up, have role models like you, Nigeria will be a better place. I'm going to not bore you and breach protocol to keep the governor waiting. So Ibim says I should be a presenter of this book. I don't know whether she wanted me to be a launcher of the book. But making me a presenter and a launcher, I'm going to present I'm going to present this book, a wonderful biography of a great mother, a great woman, and a great leader, and most of all, a great teacher. And I will launch 5 copies of this book for the sum of 5 million naira. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That is something you can't take away from him. He has a beautiful, lovely voice. All these Ajebodem, Akasa Street, you can see them. That's why Her Excellency looked at the husband and said, darling, sir, darling, it's time to do another thing.
Your Excellency, the chairman of today's occasion, Your Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, I intentionally have to take the mic because I'm introducing my brother. But before that, please let me recognize the Commissioner of Police, Rivers State, who is represented by Chief Superintendent of Police, Blessing Dumil, 2IC, Port Harcourt Metro Area Command. Thank you, ma'am. Your Excellency, with us today, as our special guest of honor, is a man who has consistently shown that he values the peace and prosperity of Rivers State. He is a man who has shown that he loves education and he loves Rivers people. He's a man that has stood on the threshold of history to make it clear that sometimes integrity means everything. He's a man that has made it very evident that he will defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I speak of the Governor of Rivers State, Sir Simnalai Fubara, GSSRS, who by the grace of God and by the providence of the Almighty sits today as Governor of Rivers State. He's represented very ably by a beautiful, distinguished gentleman, a cerebral professor of law. You probably don't know that. And I say professor in the American sense. He's a lecturer of law. He holds a PhD in law. He's a former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He served as commissioner in Rivers State. He looks very quiet, but try and see. He's a very handsome Chief of Kalabari Kingdom. Please welcome the Secretary to the Government of Rivers State, who is representing the Governor. He is Chief Dr. Tammy Wenike Danagogo. He will, along with the presenter, he will make his comments and then we will, of course, unveil the book.
The chairman of this event, our mommy, Her Excellency, the Honorable Justice Mary Odili, retired Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and several others that time wouldn't permit me to reel out here. Your Excellency, the chief guest, and Your Excellency, the former Deputy Governor, Daddy, the former Deputy Governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Tele Ikuru, and his dear wife, former Minister and former Secretary to State Government, Chief Abie Sekibo, the Chairman, River State Council of Traditional Rulers, Your Royal Majesty, and all other Royal Majesties, Royal Highnesses, and Chiefs, the Chief Presenter, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to rest on the protocols already established. There are so many dignitaries. I have my friend Akuku Peter side there. So many of you here. Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press, I must say I am particularly elated to be here this morning and afternoon. Honestly, when my friend and sister, Ibim Seminatari, I always say the brilliant, ebullient, and indefatigable Ibim, when she said that, or invited me to attend this event, I did say I wasn't going to be around because I'm to travel for a conference of secretaries to state government in Abuja, which is starting this evening. I know because of the flight situation, you have only morning flights out of Port Harcourt. So I was to fly out this morning. So I had told her I won't be here, and I'm sure she'll be surprised to see me here. But this morning, His Excellency called me. He will not be around. He's attending to some other issues out of the city center. The deputy governor is out of town. And that the least person that can come is my humble self. So I have to be here, and he will make arrangement for me to travel later in the evening. So that is why I'm here, and I must say, I am indeed happy that I'm here to share this auspicious and memorable moment. Our mommy, indeed, is your life is a remarkable one. Everything we have seen and heard today shows the life of a remarkable, quintessential, and exemplary teacher, educationist, school proprietor, philanthropist, and so much. I know the time is fast spent, and it's not time for us to say so much again. But I must say, looking at all that I have heard, one thread that runs through your life, which I commend to every one of us in this state and in this society, is that thread of passion and selflessness. Passion and selflessness. You can see if you are not that passionate and selfless, you couldn't have been what you are in education, as a teacher. Your students have been testifying. And then all of us, even those of us who were not your direct students, we know your exploits as a school proprietor, one of the foremost private school proprietors in River State in those days. So your life is indeed one that we all need to commend to the populace, the generality of the populace in River State and beyond. And that is why it is indeed heartwarming that the author took time to catalog your life so that all of us, upcoming leaders, can read and better our lives and our service to humanity. I must say, though I've not read the book myself, but it is a book I would love to read personally and commend to everybody here and beyond to read. Because knowing you over the years, as wife of Deputy Governor, as all that you have been, we know that we expect nothing less than what we have had so far. In fact, I guess we expect even more than what we have had. And so I commend the book to the readership of every one of us. It is said, it is often said, that the hand that rocks the cradle rocks the world or rules the world. And you are indeed one of those who is not just a mother to your own children, but the thousands of young lives you have touched. And of course, the title of the book said, it's touching lives and raising leaders. There's no doubt that you have touched thousands, if not millions of lives, and you have raised a lot of leaders. I often tell people that when I started out as a young lawyer, my passion was to be a lawyer and maybe a law teacher. But some of you became such shining examples that when Sir Dr. Peter Odili and his wife and your husband as Deputy Governor and yourself opened the door for us to come into politics and leadership, looking at you people, we felt it's a good thing to do. and that is why we are here today. So we thank you for being such wonderful examples. And we still pray that we will be able to be like you, be as selfless and as passionate and humble as you all are. Education, the governor has said repeatedly, is one of the cardinal pillars, or one area this government wants to, if we want to achieve anything, it's one area we want to see that we record major achievements. He has catalogued some areas of focus, like education, health, agriculture, infrastructure, development of new cities. But of course, you see, education is first amongst them. And this is to say that this is one government that values education and will always honor those of you who have sacrificed your life and time selflessly for the pursuit of good education in Rivers State. There's no doubt that you are one of the heroes of our education in Rivers State. And it therefore gladdens our hearts to be here today, to be part of this event, to share your life story, to learn from it, and to inspire us and inspire a new generation of Rivers people. It is on that note, without much ado, I want to support in launching or presenting this book with a sum of 20 million naira. Thank you and God bless you all.
Please, Your Excellency, the wife of the former Deputy Governor, the panelists, the author, Sir Alabo, representing a member of Grand Bonny, please, all of them together. The chief presenter, Daddy Achin, the chairman, Traditional Rulers Council, River State, please. The president of the Council of Knights, Dr. Amobi, please join us. Uncle Sweeping, please. Sir and Lady, Sir Sweden and Lady Comfort, Dr. Dakuku Adol, Peter side. You know that is your parents' thing. How do you think it will happen if you're not here? Sir Sweden and Lady Comfort Toby, please. Blessing, come and carry your microphone.
Well, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's only, sorry, can I sit down? It's only doing MC work that I can command. So, Your Excellency, you formally, all of you, formally lift up to unveil the book. Cameras, take it, unveil the book, just open it, and everybody will hold a copy of the book. Yes, just drop it down. Everybody will hold a copy of the book. Only those there. Okay, we are going to raise it. The cameras, remember this shot. Yeah, just hold it in front of your chest. Dakuku. Thank you. To God be the glory. This book shall it not just be for reading, but also to imbibe and follow her footsteps. In the name of God the Father, and to the glory of everybody, God. Amen. Sorry, I don't go to school. I don't go.
Thank you very much. And while they're here, let me just request that they begin to make their comments, the goodwill messages, starting with Dr. Dakuku Peter's side, who is a son in this house. Please, I want to very, very specially recognize the Alapo of Opobo Kingdom who are here present. Alabo Sunday Jaja, Alabo Prince Mark Pepple, Alabo Dapa is also here. I welcome this very revered Alapo of Opobo Kingdom.
Just go and sit. Go and sit. Journalists, please, can you go and sit down? Journalists, I'm sure we can. Cameraman. Your Excellency, my Lord, Justice Mary Odili, Justice of the Supreme Court, retired chairman of the occasion, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Sir Amopu Senebo Siminalaye, Joseph Fubara, here represented by my brother, my friend, Dr. Tami Wenike Danagugu, Your Excellency, former Deputy Governor and the wife, Engineer and Dr. Tele Ikru. Daddy, I don't know if I should also acknowledge you. Your Excellency. I love that. And mommy, I will not acknowledge you. Your own is I will tell you that I will not acknowledge you. Your Royal Majesty, the Chairman, River State Council of Traditional Rulers, and other traditional rulers, my elder brother, Dr. Alabo, Chief Dr. Abie Sekebo, the only tough general in Rivers politics. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, without failing to acknowledge my brother, my friend, Adoke Ikpoki, who is the chief presenter. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be part of this book presentation. As you're already aware, biographies are a powerful source of inspiration. And this particular biography chronicles the life of a remarkable woman, somebody who used the platform of education to shape minds, influence values, attitudes, and behavior. The life of Mommy Christie Toby, Adata Toby. The distraction is so much. Can we do this? Can we find a different way of doing these things? And so, like I said earlier, biographies have a way of shaping lives. This particular biography is a chronicle of a woman who used the platform of education as a teacher to shape lives, shape minds, influence attitude, values, and behavior in society. She's made remarkable impact. If you have opportunity of being close to her, you recall, you clearly, it will be visible to you that this is one woman who has a growth mindset, somebody who believes that whatever you put your mind to do, whatever you apply yourself, you can accomplish it. And the story is clear. This is one woman who has overcome adversity. She suffered cancer at some point. She did not only overcome adversity, she continued to live a life of impact. And one way to sum up her life is that this is a woman who has lived and is still living a life of significance. That's the only way we can talk about her. One important lesson today for all of us is that after this book presentation, ask yourself, am I living a life of legacy? What will I be remembered for longer after I've gone? It's important that you have time to reflect on the quality of life you're living. Dr. Mrs. Christie Adata Gabriel Toby, today we're celebrating her. We're not just celebrating her because she was a teacher, because of her philanthropic activities, but because she has replicated herself in the lives of many. You heard the testimony of the associate professor who spoke from River State University, and many others, several others who spoke about the kind of phenomenal impact she had on their lives. And so it challenges us to reflect on our own lives. What kind of life are we living? Are we making impact? What is our value system? So I join all of you, I charge all of you, I challenge all of you to reflect on your life if you're living a life of legacy, if you're living a life of impact. And for all of us, this book, if you've not had the opportunity of reading this book, please try and read this book. It will inspire you. It will challenge you. It will change your mindset. It will transform you just by an encounter with this book. On that note, let me remind you two things and I'll be done. The first one is that there is a paper being passed around. Just try and fill it with a modest amount that you can. Challenge yourself. Sow a seed, as our pastors will say, and say, I connect to her own story. I want to be 83. I want to be celebrated. I want to live a life of legacy. I want to live a life of significance. A life of significance starts with a day of decision. Let today be that day of decision. And so as the forms are being passed around, make sure you fill the form, pick up a copy for yourself. Not only picking up a copy for yourself, try and read this book. I assure you, it will challenge you to be a better person. I want to say, Mommy, congratulations for being a pathfinder, for being a source of inspiration for all of us, for challenging us to be the best of whom we can be. And what I want to say is that we will not disappoint you. Thank you and God bless all of you. And for the book, I'll pick up a copy for 500,000 naira.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the former Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Telekuru. Sir. Sir, you've been here since, even if you don't do it, Madam Day.
Your Excellency, the chairman of the occasion, Your Excellency, my mother, His Excellency, my father, and the man I was privileged to succeed. This is not time for long grammar again, because there's an adage in my place, say, the time has come for action. And when it is time for action, it is not time for grammar. But let me commend you for the wonderful job you have set out to do in life. And that is managing children and making them grow up in sincerity, with ethics, and becoming the people the society can look up to. It's a great job. I will not say so much, but
where the
like
new generation of leaders we are expecting in this country in the various professions will come from. But if you have a society that values education, that grows real teachers. When I say real teachers, I mean teachers who are passionate and are selfless. Yes, if you have that kind of society that values them, of course, the society naturally will go forward. So what I am calling for is for government and the society generally to value teachers and try as much as possible to grow our educational system. And then for those who say they want to be teachers, to understand that it's a job that requires passion and selflessness. Thank you. Thank you.
Let me secure my son and handed me over to my mother. So I'm the only person who, I'm sure in this hall, you can be sure that I'm the only person whose biological mother made sure that before she passed on, she hands over her son to a new mother. So it's like I haven't lost anything. The chairman of the occasion. The celebrant of today, the heartthrob of our father. You know that whenever I see, we used to call him Christie Toby in those days. Whenever I see him, I imagine what would he have been if not for this great woman? Mommy, thank you very much for what you made sure our father became. Thank you very much. Chief Presenter, my younger brother, very well done. Very well done. Your Excellency, tell Ekuru and your dear wife, mine is to join our mother to say thank you to each and every person who is here. You won't understand how I feel today, seeing two mothers sitting together, two mothers who created for us in this state for 8 years the best society that we could ever have. No upland, no riverine, no ethnic groups, one family working together for the betterment of our state. Not many people realize that when these two women were the powers behind the governor and deputy governor of this state, that we were self-sufficient in electricity. We generated our own electricity enough to power the entire River State and export to neighboring states. We had a school busing system. We looked at education as the bedrock of society. So you can understand why impact was made at that time. And we thank God that today, our present governor, Sim Fubara, is reenacting what they did during the administration. On that note, let me support by taking a copy for 1 million naira. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sonny Wokekoro, State Chairman, APP. Thank you so much. Please put your hands together for Dr. Abi Sekewo. When you see him, you're going to say now from the Odili era. Looking good, clean. Even this one, also looking good, clean, with good shoe. Boy, shoe walking.
Your Excellency, Justice Mrs. Mary Odili, the one who has retired, but she's not tired. The mother of the modern day democracy in River State. And I say so without apologies. Our Excellency, a perfect combination, a perfect blend of different sets of ladies that worked in harmony and brought peace to River State. Our Excellency, Mrs. Christie Toby. Other excellencies that are here present, past and present, let me take the leave of the protocol established already for want of time. It's instructive that we'll know. If our teachers will teach our children the elementary rules of hygiene.
If Dr. Precious Saya, Chief and Head of Dr. Maboye World Kingdom House of Ancient Cocoa Kingdom. I double as the Chairman, Kokama Divisional Council of Chief, and the Chief of Staff to the King of Ancient Cocoa Kingdom. Today, I will say, it's one of the days
comes out easy. You must have to work hard to earn anything in life. But there is no free lunch. If they could teach us that leadership is about sacrifice and service, not amazing wealth at the expense of the people they govern. I'm sure we would have touched on the caption of the book that is being presented to us today, which reads, Touching Lives, and of course, Raising Leaders. I am proud and still proud to have served under Dr. Peter Lee. Perhaps, I don't know myself and the telecrew who back then were the youngest commissioner, but I'm proud to have served under that administration. And ever since then, I have watched successive administration come and go. None exhibited understanding, maturity, dexterity to duties and responsibilities more than Dr. Peter Lee and a combined team of Sir Gabriel Toby.
I don't know how to describe her. And my king, who happens to be, I told him some time ago, your man flogged me, so be careful. And here I am. So that is how the education is today. A very good woman, an educationist, a disciplinarian. We know her for that. We're in our 50s, and we're discussing a woman that dealt with us squarely. I wish you people were there then, in the 70s, late 70s and early 80s. She would have flogged even both all of you.
Identify with our mommy for this achievement you've made. I've not gone through the book, but I want to advise, if it's possible, and I'm no ethics, you should write a book in partnership with Her Excellency that has to do on the harmony that ought to exist in governance between the principal and all those behind them. That is what we are lacking today. You have a governor that the deputy governor is trying to undercut. You have a governor that the SSG is plotting a different thing. You have a governor that the chief of staff has a different ball game, a different idea. So what is the resultant effect of it? This harmony in governance. So I put this challenge to you. God bless you all.
As our DNA is linked to Christie Toby. My mother was a classroom teacher, headmistress, and zonal education inspector. You must go to school. And if your teacher failed to flog you, my mother will bring the cane to the school and flog you very well. Discipline. And that is what the society lacks today. Parents go to school and scold teachers. How dare you in the days of Christie Toby? How dare you? And that's what's spoiling the entire system. When we were in secondary school, there was what we call corporal punishment. You will dig a trench. They will do their legs, and you will cut a triangle. And all those things built us up. I used these, my hands, in secondary school, Baptist High School precisely.
Engineer Adokie Tobomie, who is unavoidably absent. He has asked me to come and represent him. I have seen the book. I will present the book to him. So he said he's going to support the book presentation with the sum of 1 million naira. Thank you.
Today, no way. Those days, you must read to pass your exams, and they will groom you. Even on after school, they will nurture you. There were WAEC representatives in various schools, as English teachers, as biology teachers. So tell me where you will hide. They will bring you out, and then education was education. And then when you come out, if you're a prefect then in our schools, you must have something here. But these days, they give prefects to whom it may concern, and the role models are lost. So that is it. We are now the role models of today, not role models by the other side. We see them as our role models, and we are working towards them, and that is what we are. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
Thank you.
All
protocols observed. Venerable Boma Peter Briggs, representing Right Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Okuchi Okojaja, the 7th Bishop of Niger Delta Diocese, will launch the book with a sum of 100,000 naira.
Thank you so much. Sir, please step forward and collect a copy. Mayor of Housing, as soon as no one, please step forward and they'll give you a copy there. Please direct him so he gets a copy. Okay, there are some persons who have collected copies. Okay. Your Excellencies, this is a young man. I wish he was here during the Odili era. There would have been so much enjoyment. I have a house today as a civil servant under Dr. Peter Odili. I was a civil servant. I was not a political appointee. So you can imagine the love that flew from Her Excellency down. Mayor of Housing.
Thank you very much. All protocols duly observed. I'm standing on existing protocols so that I wouldn't make any blunder. My name is Maes China, and I'm a real estate success strategist and the mayor of Housing. Today, I sat through this event to get the value of the event, which is the power of the inspiration of character. Everybody that was talking here talked about how our educational system needs to be reinvented. I think they are already doing perfectly well in educating the mind. The place that has been lacking behind is in educating the character. And Theodore Roosevelt said that if to educate the mind without educating the morals is to produce a menace to the society. He said he wished I came during the orderly era. It will interest you to know, Ma, that during the orderly era, I was in school. I was a member of the SUG, and the only person that has given us a brand new bus in the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, the present Commissioner of Health was my schoolmate, is Dr. Peter Odili, and I have not forgotten. Brand new coaster bus. When I came in here today, the first time I came into Port Harcourt, the first place I went to is to the house of the foremost UNN Super Grand Lion, Sir Gabriel Toby, and the two people we have in the house today. If you check the t-shirt, you see that our mommy Christie, is called Mother General. Sitting beside her is Mother Justice General. And they are all this because they got married to Super Lions and UNN graduates. So I will urge you. Yeah, oh, she's also an Lamlula. So she's even a Super Grand Lioness herself. So I could go on and on, but I came here, I observed the stories, and even met ODC today. Yes, because through the stories you meet people, and the book reviewer did such a wonderful job that I'm thinking this should be an annual event where we just come and talk the story of this book to inspire us that are aspiring to build character. So in order not to waste your time with the nostalgia of what I'm feeling, I'll just take a copy of the book with 1 million naira, and then I'll discuss with my sister general, Ibims, for how we can have an annual event to inspire young people with the stories in this book. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Look at him very well. As he comes to Port Harcourt, he exhibits what Odili we call the Port Harcourt arrogance. Lady Adike S.N. George. When women come up, I'm happy.
All protocols duly observed. I stand here representing all of us that grew under our beloved mommy. She has been a mentor. We have learned a lot from her, and we will continue to learn because we've not exhausted it. She's still teaching, so many are expected to learn more. Thank you, Thank you, Ma, for this wonderful day you created for us. On behalf of the women of St. Cyprian's Church, Mothers Union Women's Guild, we want to present this envelope as a token for the launching. And on behalf of my humble self, I present this envelope. Thank you.
Thank you. The committee, now they take the envelope. Madam, they here. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I stand on existing protocol. Our mother, our royal mother, has been so much. I read the book from top to bottom. Mommy, I dedicated myself reading every page. Well, your daughters, the HRSS class of 92, will be launching this book with just a token of 150,000 naira. And one of your daughters, Her Excellency Grace Dixon, launches, I think she sent the receipt down to Mommy, with a sum of 100,000 naira. Another of your daughter has also launched the book with a sum of 50,000 naira. And I am going to launch the book with a sum of 30,000 naira. Thank you, Mommy. Can I give the envelope?
Thank you. Mathematics don't enter here. 100 plus 50 plus 30 plus 150. Mathematics don't enter. Thank God I know be finance. Alabo son the Jaja. Alabo Prince McPepple. Alabo Prince Will Dapa. Please, all of you make an account launch. I have your names. Please, mic is open. And one of our Dr. William Park. You know the Opobos and the Ogonis are very close. But when it comes to the titles, Opobos allocated the titles to themselves. We have Senibo, Amapu, and many things. Sir.
Your Excellencies, I'm standing on the established protocols. I didn't want to talk, but I think I would be very unfair to the family. 40 years ago, Pa O.D.C. Brown left to Pupu after retirement to wed me. And that was the last job he did. So I'm still remaining with that blessing. Years later, I like to say here that Ibim, the celebrated lady, was my flower girl during my wedding. My wife, after graduation, worked under her auntie, Her Excellency, Dame Christie Toby, as a teacher. And so I'm not surprised that the catalog that has been recorded in the biography are true reflections of what she picked from her dad and what she is giving to society, including me. So I want to thank you for recording this history. I'm not going to say too much. Our uncle is here, despite all his high-ranking position. He remains my uncle. I have found it difficult to call him by any other name. And that's because you see somebody that can hold you accountable. I just want to say that there was a time I started leaving my beds. And he took one look at me. See, what are you trying to do? Look old? Or fit again? And I didn't need any person to tell me to go and shave it. My boss, the Pro-Chancellor of the University Council, is here. But apart from being my boss, Her Excellency Justice Mary Odile is my sister. is really a trajectory of history that our parents worked in faraway Ilorin together. And today, I'm working with her at the governing council. So life has a way of repeating a cycle. But going to the book, you have been a good educationist, a role model, not only in the state, nationally, but in Opopo. They know you as that woman that has looked after her family, apart from being the real Ibani woman, having done all the rights that you should do. I wish you well, and I wish more to come from you. Thank you very much. By the way, I have transferred my little donation. Let it not be that I talked without putting that.
Thank you. You have a right not to announce the donation. You can have a right to talk. Professor Priye Yala Amadi, wife
Dr.
of
Christie Toby.
I don't like to use the word late, wife of our literary icon, Elichi Amadi. Prof.
Yes, of course, because from what we have had, it's a selfless service in the sense that it is not for money. Most of the things she's doing, in fact, the one she has even gone to raise even leaders that have physical challenges, like mental health and so on. It means that she's touching lives, indeed, because no one is left out in this exercise. Yes. So I'm enriched myself, because I never knew to this extent what people are doing for people.
So you call to the society, to leaders out there, on how to reach out to people.
To reach out to people, because this is another way of reaching out to people. In fact, I'm encouraged, because if there are any deficiencies in me, I've seen them as a person. So if there is anything that I need to do to emulate what she has done so far, I'm coming up to her age, so I'll be very glad to do it, without any hesitations.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. God bless.
I take a copy just to show my gratitude and to show my care. I take a copy with the sum of 50,000 naira. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your presence means so much. Thank you so much. Please come forward. Come forward.
I plead to stand on the existing protocol. Mommy, actually I didn't want to say anything, but if I didn't come out to appreciate this wonderful mentor of ours, it would have been so much unfair, So I stand here to join in eulogizing this great woman, great mentor, capacity woman, egalitarian. She has been our mentor. In fact, she belongs to my group in the church. She is the founder or the president of Group 6, Women Group 6 of St. Cyprian's Church. And I happen to work closely with her. So, Mommy, we have, on behalf of Group 6, Women Group 6, I stand here to appreciate your wonderful works. We appreciate you. You are our leader, egalitarian, so we cannot stop. But so, we just have a token to present on behalf of the group. And we'll transfer. Praise the Lord. Thank you, ma. God bless you, ma. God bless you, ma.
Thank you. That's
as we celebrate them, and we look back at the kind of sacrifices they've made. I remember that 40 years ago, the father, the great O.D.C. Brown, came out from retirement to wed me. And those preachings and teachings are still with us. And years later, my wife worked under the celebrant as a teacher. And so we've imbibed and learned a lot. Just like I mentioned, Beans Military, their daughter, was my flower girl during our wedding. And so it's been a family thing. So it's somebody that we've known for discipline, for hard work, for family life and virtues, and a stickler to doing things properly. So we celebrate her today, and we wish and thank her for documenting some of these stories for others coming behind to learn. And so we pray that the next generation will be better than what we have now. We'll just pray.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that the Lord will continue to give you good health and make you to always shine forth wherever you go. Thank you once again, and God bless you. And on behalf of the trefoil, we have this in my hand to support the launching. Thank you very much.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, protocol does not allow us to allow the chairman to remain the last person. We must first do protocol. Thereafter, other items will continue. It is on this note that I invite Dr. Mrs. Ida Ingida Minabo to please come forward and move a vote of thanks so that officially, protocol-wise, Her Excellency Justice Bello. Yes, if you just... Okay, just please, just wait for a minute. Thank you, sorry. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you. Please come forward. Let's move a vote of thanks. Thereafter, we continue.
Chairman of the occasion, please may I stand on the already established protocol. As we conclude this wonderful event, it is with great honor that I give this vote of thanks on behalf of the celebrant, Dame Dr. Christie Toby, and her husband, Sir G.T.G. Toby. It is usually said that behind every successful man is a woman. But the reverse is now the case, as in this particular book presentation, it can be said that behind the success of our mom is our dad. Thank you, Daddy, for your invaluable support to Mommy. I would like to begin by thanking Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminialai Fubara, GSSROS, ably represented by the Secretary to the Government, Chief Dr. Dana Gogo, and even in his own capacity as the SSG. Thank you very much, sir, for your support and presence. I will also thank Her Excellency, the former First Lady of this great state, our very own retired Justice of the Supreme Court, currently the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Rivers State University Council, my amiable employer and boss. Honorable Justice Mary Ukaego Peter Odili, thank you, Ma, for accepting to chair this occasion in spite of your busy schedules. We are grateful for your time well spent with us. Former Deputy Governor and his wife, Engineer and Dr. Teli Ikru, former Minister of Transport, Chief Dr. Abie Sekibo, former DG Nimesa, Dr. Dakuku Peter Side, former and present commissioners here present, we thank you for your presence. The chief presenter, Mr. Adokie Ikpoki, thank you for shelving every engagement to honor our invitation. We are grateful, sir. Our Royal Majesties and other traditional rulers here present, we thank you all for gracing this occasion with your esteemed presence. Our fathers in the Lord, the bishops of Niger Delta and Okrika Diocese, we thank you for being here. Our Royal Majesties and other traditional rulers here present, we thank you all for gracing this occasion with your esteemed presence. Our distinguished Rotarians, St. Cyprian's Men Christian Association, Group 6 Women, Girls Guide, Opubo Bibi Rebo, and all other associations here present, we thank you for your rare and great show of love and friendship by attending this epoch-making occasion. As a family, we appreciate your immense demonstration of love and brotherhood. Members of the committee who worked tirelessly to put this event together, especially my beloved sister Ibim Semenitari, who didn't relent in steering the leadership of the committee. Your efforts are very much appreciated. To the author of this very engaging piece of literature, an awarding investigative journalist, storyteller, and public relations strategist who worked tirelessly and quite professionally to put the beautiful piece of literature together, we are grateful for your collaboration and show of professionalism. Thank you for your efforts. In the same light, we extend our gratitude to the MC, Mr. Blessing Wikena and Lexi M for being there for us. We appreciate and love you. We thank the staff and students of ABEC Group of Schools and Holy Rosary Old Girls. Thank you all for honoring your school daddy and mommy. Time will fail me to thank each and every one of you present here, but permit me to especially thank the book reviewer, Dr. Wardy, for a thorough review, and the discussants of the book, Professor Bibi Fakai, Professor Telema Adolphus, and Dr. Olu Femi Janet Williams, for a job well done. You are amazing, and we appreciate you. To all our esteemed and distinguished guests, friends and family here present, we are grateful to your time and support to celebrate this literary achievement. Your presence signifies the importance of community and shared knowledge. I encourage everyone to pick up a copy of the book, delve into its pages, and continue the conversations we have started today. Let's keep the spirit of learning and dialogue alive. Lastly, having honored our dear mother, Dame Dr. Christie Toby and Sir G.T.G. Toby, we pray that the Almighty God will honor and protect you all and grant you journey mercies back to your various destinations. Thank you and remain blessed.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And that, of course, officially brings the formal aspect of the occasion to a close. Your Excellency, while you are departing, please, the author and a group photograph here, please. Where is the author and the deputy governors? Sir, please join them. Where are the panelists? Okay, they've gone. Where's the author?
Yeah.
Sir, please kindly. Sorry, this other one is. They used to say one for the road. They used to say one for the road. Photographers, where are they?
like say, so that photographers will hear my. Like say, lower down, so that the photographers will hear. This, where are the photographers? Please come. Right, okay, there is a camera coming. So please, after 3 counts, they are going to end. Okay, Mayor of Housing, you are joining them. Well, take the shots. Immediately I count down, that will be over. 3, 3.5. Prof, please join them. This is okay. No more 3. Please make sure everybody's in the shot. 2, 2.5. 1, 1.5. 0. Thank you so much. Thank you, Your Excellencies. And Her Excellencies will now depart. Thank you.
No way. Wakanawa kirimose nanowe aiba nanowe Wakanawa kirimose nanowe aiba nanowe Wakanawa kirimose nanowe Waganama kirimose nanowe aiba nanowe Waganama kirimose nanowe aiba nanowe Waganama kirimose nanowe You are the pillar that was my life. Jehovah Shammah, you are the pillar. You are the pillar, oh. You are the pillar that was my life. Ibungalaba tinuramuwe. Ibungalaba tinuramuwe. Oh yene memale. Ibungalaba tinuramuwe. Oh yene memma. Ibungalaba tinuramuwe.
She's kept a legacy that is a learning process for a lot of us, and for us to, like I said, there is need to revisit the foundational base of our educational system, taking a cue from her trajectory, from where she started and have emerged to who she is today, an epitome of education and the learning process for everyone. So that's a legacy she has brought in, and it remains unchallenged.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nigeria, where I graduated, and her daughter, Ibim Seminatari, has been a value friend and partner. So I call the celebrant Mommy General, and her daughter Ibim Sister General, and her husband Grandfather Super Grand Lion General. So I had to be here today because she's one of the most seasoned and the most character-filled generation of teachers that we need to duplicate. So the fact that she has been able to duplicate herself in a book is something I wanted to soak the event, soak the book, and probably have an event where I get this book transferred to the new generation so that they can build same example and same character of inspiration that the celebrant has built.
So, finally, sir, a word for teachers out there looking at her good quality. We found out that she touched lives, she raised leaders. What advice do you have for teachers out there?
What I have for teachers is that what you are is more important than what you know. What you know you can teach to the student, but what you are becomes an example to the student. We are in the age where social media, Google, and even AI can teach students better than you. But the only thing lacking in AI and all this social media is the example of character that will inspire the children to be like you. So don't just be a teacher in knowledge, be a teacher in character, because knowledge is not scarce. We are in the knowledge age. What is scarce in this information age is character and teachers that can be examples of character.
Thank you for your time, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you. Dio.
Fulfilled. I feel very fulfilled that I see my children and they're all responsible in their own rights. I give God all the glory.
So finally, a lot of persons came to Grace today. A word of thanks to Asmin that have come to honor you on this special day.
Eh?
A lot of persons came from far and near to honor you.
Yes.
What word do you have for them?
May God bless them. May the Lord honor them. Amen. Because they know good things will come their way. Amen. In the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen. Congratulations once again.
God bless
Thank
you.
you. Mommy, just
Thank
a brief photograph with your students.
Mommy, smile. Mommy, look here, look here.